Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here. It's Monday morning. It's St. Patrick's Day, and we've got a lot to cover today. We got to react to a loss to the Portland Trailblazers yesterday, and we have a double header today, guys. Two games in a row to watch tonight as Raptors fans. As at 7:30, the Raptors 905 will play a second game against the Windy City Bulls at Paramount Fine Food Center, and then at 10 o'clock tonight, it's the Raptors at the Phoenix Suns. So, double header night. You can watch both games right in a row, meaning like 4 or 5 hours of basketball tonight, guys. I am loving it. I like it when it lines up like this so that they're not at the same time and I can actually watch both the games in a row because I love basketball and I want to see lots of it all the time. All right, let's do the previews for the games tonight, and then we'll come back around and react to the Trailblazers game last night. Yeah. So first of all, let's do the latest lineup news for the Phoenix Suns game for the Toronto Raptors. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a switch. They're switching Emmanuel and RJ in for Jakob. I know they haven't officially announced this yet, but the pattern is very evident of what they're doing right now with how they're diffusing their talent, kind of watering it down. Guys are getting rest days. So Jakob Poeltl played yesterday. It's a back-to-back. He will not be playing today. I'm going to say that right now, even though it's officially not officially out. The Raptors freak is going by his knowledge and watching this team, and he's going to tell you that Jakob Poeltl will be sitting tonight after the game yesterday. Scotty Barnes, it's one. I wonder if he will sit. He could sit also, but he may not. He may very well just play because he doesn't want to miss any more games. If he misses 2 more games, he may be in trouble with his 65 games for the year. So Scotty's likely to play, even though it's a back-to-back, and Jakob will take a rest day. Now, RJ and Emmanuel should be back, but it could be that RJ is actually really sick, and he is not available today because of his illness. But Emmanuel should be back playing tonight for sure. So we should see Emmanuel back. It was nice to see Ochai Agbaji return to the lineup yesterday. And also Jonathan Mobo was available also. So those guys are off the injury list. Jacoby Walter is still on the injury list, though, with a hip injury. Brandon Ingram is there, of course. And so is Grady Dick and Ulrich Shamshay. So those guys are out. Shamshay, Dick, Ingram, and Walter are the guys that are out for sure. I will speculate that the Raptors starting lineup tonight will be Emmanuel Quickley, Ochai Agbaji, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Orlando Robinson. Yeah, I know Yak's going to sit out. He's going to sit out for sure tonight. We'll see if Scotty does too. And we'll also have to see if RJ returns. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's the basics of the Raptors injury report right now. For sure out Walter, Dick, Brandon, and Ulrich Shamshay. But the other guys, it's up in the air. Jakob probably will sit for sure. On the Sun side of things, there was an injury to Bradley Beal yesterday during the Laker game. The Suns played yesterday also. They played the Lakers, and they lost to the Lakers. And Bradley Beal got hurt in this game and had to leave the game. So he's day-to-day on their list right now. Left hamstring tightness is the official injury. So we'll have to see if Bradley plays. It's because it's a back-to-back. He's an older player, and he got hurt in the last game. It's probably very likely that Bradley Beal will not be suiting up for the Phoenix Suns tonight. Monte Morris is out also due to his back. He has a back injury. And Grayson Allen has been out for a bit due to his foot. So we'll have to see if Grayson Allen's back. He did not play yesterday. So it could very well be that Grayson's out and Monte Morris is out and Bradley Beal is out. So who's on the Suns? We just saw them in Toronto a couple weeks ago and beat them in a very good game where the Raptors rose up and beat the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant. It was an awesome game. Well, they're not that much different. Devin Booker at point guard. It's very likely that we will see one of their backups at the shooting guard, like maybe Royce O'Neal or Colin Gillespie. Ryan Dunn at small forward, the defensive rookie. Kevin Durant, of course, at power forward. And Nick Richards, the acquisition this season at center. Now, Nick Richards isn't one of the best centers in the league, so we can get away with sitting Jakob against him and maybe still being competitive. As many people are pointing out, the Suns are a team, much like the Trailblazers last night. They're actually still trying to win games. You know, that's the difference. We've been playing some teams on our win streak recently that we're really not trying to win at all. And well, the Blazers did try and win last night. And well, we should expect the Suns to try and win tonight. So it's very likely that the Raptors will lose tonight, guys. And I'm not trying to be a tanker or anything like that. You know where my heart lies. I'm just reading the tea leaves and the situation and trying to tell you guys what to expect. The thing with this game tonight is that the Suns still have some position that they need to work out in the Western Conference playoff race. So they have a lot of gumption to win. And well, we saw with the game last night, the Raptors were not trying to win the game against Portland last night, obviously. So this is very much probably the scenario for tonight. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. ESPN matchup predictor is giving us a 35% chance to win against the Suns tonight. So they have like a 65% chance to win, and we have a 35% chance to win, according to ESPN's matchup predictor. So who else is on the Suns? Well, Devin Booker, Ryan Dunn, Kevin Durant, Nick Richards, Tyus Jones, Colin Gillespie, Royce O'Neal, Osho Ighodaro, Ty Washington Jr., Cody Martin, Bol, Mason Plumlee, and Monte Morris, Grayson Allen, Bradley Beal, and that's about it. So yeah, they have a weird team. They have a very weird team. So yeah, the Suns probably will win tonight, just so you guys know. This is just me with my knowledge of what's going on with the team and the way they're going and where we're going. We're probably going to roll over and let them win tonight on purpose. Now, the referees. Let's go look at the refs for today. First of all, the referees for Windy City Bulls at Mississauga Raptors 905. Agan Abazi will be the crew chief once again, number 7. We've had him quite a few times recently. Agan, he's a very tough referee. Cameron Garber is the second ref, number 33, and Paul Toomey is the umpire. It's the only G League game going on today. Windy City Bulls at Raptors 905, 7:30 tip-off. So yeah, we'll be watching that, and then we'll watch right into the Phoenix Suns in the replay center tonight. Watching from Secaucus, it will be Tony Brothers, Matt Callio, Brandon Schwab, and Jenna Schroeder. Now, for our game in Phoenix, our ref crew is, once again, the family guy, Mark Lindsay, we've had, this will be like the 7th game we've had for him this year. So yeah, Mark Lindsay's done a lot of Raptor games this year. He hasn't been bad to us, honestly. I think we're out of the 6 games he's refed us, we're 3-3, guys. So we're even with him this year. So we've won 3 and lost 3. Number 29's in his 18th season out of Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. That's right. Malvin likes Mike Lindsay. He's talking about him on the broadcast as being one of his Pennsylvania guys. His favorite TV show is Family Guy. I don't just call him the Family Guy because, he's a guy who has a family. It's because he loves the Family Guy show. So we call him the Family Guy. His favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption. He gets down to Dave Matthews Band. His book is He Can't Hurt Me. His favorite app is Apple Podcasts. He's most like to go to Rome on a family trip with to Italy. And then his hidden talent is spelling. He's a good speller. Yeah, Mark Lindsay considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be Game 5 of the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. There you go. Mark Lindsay, as I said, has been a pretty good ref to the Raptors this year. We're 3-3. We win 56% of our games historically. And well, the Suns win 57%. It's a very slight advantage for the Phoenix Suns, 56 to 57, 56. Actually, it's actually 56 to 56. There's a 0.2 difference. It's 55.7 to 55.9, guys. So it's actually 56 to 56 with a slight advantage for the Phoenix Suns with Mark Lindsay. He should be a very fair ref tonight. Let's just put it that way. The second ref tonight is the lawyer, Brent Barnecki, number 36, 15th season out of Hamilton, Ohio. His favorite TV show is Hardwood Classics. He likes the movie For the Love of the Game. His favorite musician is Chris Botti. His favorite book is Ego is the Enemy. His favorite meal is chicken parmesan. He likes to use FaceTime. He'd also like to visit Italy. And his bucket list is a Great Barrier Reef scuba dive. There you go. Brent Barnecki was a member of the crews that refereed NBA games in London and Rio de Janeiro in 2014 and in Mexico City in 2018. He also worked the Rising Stars competition during NBA All-Star Weekend in New Orleans 2014. Yeah, Brett is a lawyer. He earned his Juris Doctorate from Nova Southeastern University Shepherd Broad College of Law in Florida, and he has experience as a civil trial lawyer. Yeah, there you go. Brent Bernecki, we have not seen a whole lot this year. He is actually the worst ref for the Raptors today, but he favors us. That's the crazy thing. We've lost one game. They had one game with Brent Bernecki this year, and we lost it. We win 44% of our games when he's present. And meanwhile, the Suns only win 39% of their games. So he technically favors the Raptors, even though he has the worst win percentage for us. And we've only had him once and we lost. So 44 to 39 is the split, 44 to 39 for the Raptors with the lawyer. The third ref is the most favorable ref for the Raptors today, but he favors the Suns, actually. Matt Myers is his name, 7th season out of St. Louis, Missouri, number 43. His favorite TV show is The Wire. He also likes the movie Shawshank Redemption, much like Mark Lindsay. His favorite musician is Jay-Z. His favorite book is A Promised Land. He likes to eat buffalo wings. His favorite app is Words with Friends. He'd most like to visit Bora Bora and attend the Masters, and his hidden talent is golf. Matt Myers spent 12 years as a collegiate official working in the Big South, Mid-Eastern Athletic, and Southern Conferences, among others. He also has 5 years of high school officiating experience in Virginia. There you go. Matt Myers is the best statistical ref for the Raptors today. We have lost all 3 games he's refed so far this year, though. We're 0-3, but we win 57% of our games in the history of Matt Myers being around the Raptors. Meanwhile, though, the Suns are his favorite team. They have the highest win percentage out of all 30 teams with Matt Myers, and that is 77%, a really, really high winning percentage for the Suns with Matt Myers. So 57 to 77 is the split, even though Matt Myers is a top 5 ref for the Raptors even too. So it's an interesting crew. There's a balance to it. The lawyer and the family guy and Matt Myers. Matt Myers is the refs. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I was right with the refs yesterday. It was a very, very favorable ref crew for us. Ben Taylor and JT Orr doing really nice stuff for us, overlooking double dribbles and travels that the Raptors were doing last night. There was some stuff that we were doing that should have been called. And I'm being fair here, just saying that. And yeah, JT Orr and Ben Taylor were very, very kind to Toronto in Portland last night, even though we lost. They gave us a lot of good calls last night. They really did. But yeah, this crew, it's not as favorable as the one we had in Portland, but it's not bad either. It's not a horrible, horrible one. It's not a horrible, horrible one. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here in the chat this morning. We start off with our Commissioner Fun, Trevor J, with his words of wisdom to start the chat. Let's see what he's saying. It's during the worst times of your life that you will get to see the true colors of the people who say they care for you. Yeah, this is tough. And the sad thing is sometimes in those worst times, you need them the most and they're just not there for you. And it sucks. It's a real letdown and it really can hurt. Yeah. I mean, listen, real ones will be there for you no matter what. And real ones will be out there. You know what I'm saying? Often it is family because they're your family and they really are real ones for you. And sometimes it is really, really close friends or people that you really, really absolutely can trust. Sometimes family isn't the best. And friends and your new family, your family and your friends are the people that are actually doing this for you. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom this morning. Always welcome and helpful on a St. Patrick's Day today. Yeah, St. Patty's Day. And some days this day is not one of my favorite days. But I hope everybody who's going to enjoy the festivities enjoys them responsibly and is smart. I'm a big advocate against drinking and driving. Do not get behind the wheel if you've had any alcohol today. It's a very, very, very poor decision. Trust me. I know because I've made that poor decision many times in my youth. And being 15 years in AA and not having a drop of alcohol since 2010, my life changed drastically when I put down the bottle. So this is a day when a lot of people are going to pick up the bottle, and rightfully so, because it is a day for them to celebrate, and there's nothing wrong with that. All I ask, as somebody who's made very poor decisions in my life before, that you don't fall in that category of making poor decisions because of your alcohol. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, have a good time. Enjoy St. Patrick's Day, but be responsible. That's what I always say on that. Yeah. And Trevor's saying that Yak was the show last night and happy game day. Let's beat the Suns tonight. Yeah. Yeah. Jakob. What? I was saying this in the chat last night on Facebook that I feel like Jakob Poeltl had the moment of the year for me when he hit the 3 right at the beginning of the game. This is something that's very interesting. Apparently, Pirtle has been practicing threes in practice and making them very steadily. So Darko wanted to do something funny and call a 3-point shot for Jakob in the very beginning of the game against the Trailblazers last night. Well, it looked like he was going to miss it horribly, but amazingly, the ball bounced around on the cylinder just like it was a Kawhi shot from against Philadelphia and fell in. In fact, Matt Devlin, when he's doing the call, he's kind of calling it like Jakob for three. And then like it kind of looked like it was going to not go in. And then it went in. And it was so weird, man. You know, Jakob has not taken a lot of 3-point shots in his basketball career ever. Blake Murphy had the information on Blue Sky saying that out of all his career, even in Austria, even at Utah in college, he's taken 7 threes his whole entire career, guys. And out of those 7 threes, 2 of them were heaves at the last second from half court to try and make it because of the buzzer, right? So technically, really, he's 3 out of 5 from 3, guys. Like, seriously, he's 3 out of 5 from 3 over his NBA career. Now, the last time Jakob attempted a 3 was like in 2022, guys. This is so weird, man. Like, if you had told me that we're going to start the game and our first basket was going to be a corner 3 from Jakob Poeltl, I would have been like, nah, man, come on now. You're serious? Really? But it was. And boy, was it epic. And boy, was it fun. And it had me rolling on the floor laughing, honestly, because it's so weird. Now, this is weird because think about this, guys. Darko is all about developing his players further and further in their careers. We know Jakob can do everything a big man can do, but the one big weakness is he can't shoot threes. And people have said, hey, you can't shoot threes. He's worthless to us. And they wanted to trade Pirtle off the Raptors just solely because he couldn't shoot threes. Was Darko developing him to shoot threes on the down low behind the scenes? Yes. Because listen, they don't let Yak do that unless he's showing consistently in practice that he can do that. Darko's not stupid. He's not going to put Jakob out there to look like a fool. So he knew he would make that shot. So what does this mean, Brian Winders? Does this mean this summer that Jakob is going to work really hard on his 3-point shot? And all of a sudden, he's going to have an added dimension to his game that's going to be very helpful for the Raptors team? I mean, that could very well be possible. Seriously. I mean, the shot looked good. And apparently, from what I'm hearing from intel and practice, this was not a shock to any of the players on the team because they've seen him doing this behind the scenes for a while now. That Jakob has quietly been developing a 3-point shot behind our backs. And he showed it to us last night. It was crazy. And then, of course, later in the game, Jakob had this crazy steal once again. Like I called, there's a new position in the NBA apparently called center guard or guard center. Because Jakob's playing guard center right now. Some would say Jokic is a guard center, but not like this. I'm telling you, the guard center is doing stuff like stealing the ball like Jamal Shedwood in the backcourt and running the ball back and dunking it on them. That's like guard work. And in some ways, him hitting a corner 3 and then like getting a steal, and instead of passing it to anyone, he just dribbles it right down the court himself and throws down the Austrian hammer. That was so glorious. I love that so much. And you saw how crazy Scotty and the bench went when Jakob threw that hammer dunk down from dribbling all the way down the court. It was fantastic. It's in some ways those 2 highlights alone, the 2 Jakob highlights, I don't care that we lost. They made my night. They made my night. Pirtle hit a 3, and then he stole the ball and dribbled all the way down the court and threw it down heavy, hard with his right. Wow. So good. So good. And then he even got chippy with Klingon for a little while there, too. Donovan Klingon, you're a punk ass little bitch, man. I'm going to say that right now. Bro, you just showed up in this league. You're a rookie, and you throwing your weight around and act like you're a badass. You're on a shitty team in Portland, and you acting like you're a badass, man. I didn't like his attitude at all. In some ways, he was being a little bit too physical and a little bit too pushy for a guy who just showed up in this league this year. And in some ways, Jakob had to talk to him for a second and kind of tell him his place. Seriously. But yeah, I don't like that Donovan guy already. Seriously. First game I seen him play against the Raptors, and he's a piece of shit. Yeah, Donovan Klingon, 2 big finger salute to you. 1 finger salute to you, my guy. That's right. Fuck that guy, man. Seriously. Trevor's also saying that Shed's game is getting better and better, looking at him as a point guard. I love what Alvin said. Alvin Williams on the broadcast last night said that he thinks that Shed in the years to come is going to be one of the biggest steals in that draft. And I believe it. And you know what it is? It's Shed's genius inside his head. It's not his athleticism, which is better than Fred's. Seriously, we saw him do the put back dunk last week. We've seen him do amazing things athletically. It's this up here. It's the same as Lowry. It's the same as Van Vliet. It's a brain that is really smart, that understands basketball, that understands little plays and little things to do, tendencies. Go do this. This is where you could get a steal. You could do this. He's breaking down the game with his mind, and he's really figuring it out. The thing that happened to me last night was I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Shed play, and I keep forgetting he's a rookie. Like, seriously, at this point in the season, he's only in his rookie year still, but he feels like he's a 2 or 3 or 4 year pro at this point because of his aptitude and how smart he is and just really making the right decisions. And Alvin's been talking to other people, like he's best friends with Chauncey Billups. He's talking to other people around the league, and they're coming to him and saying, this Jamal Shed kid is amazing. Like, this dude is going to be somebody somewhere. I believe them because all the signs are there that the dude is really smart. He's a genius, and he understands basketball theory. Basketball IQ is off the charts, and he's fantastic. I love Jamal Shed, and he's so good. We have to bench him with Scotty and Jakob because he's going to help us win when we're trying to tank. That's crazy. Like, seriously, the last couple of games, Shed could not be out there at the end of the games because they know he's going to take the game over and win it for us. And that says a lot. That's a compliment to the young rookie that, that man can't even get on the floor at the end of the game because Bobby's worried he's going to win the game for us. Seriously, that's crazy, man. But I agree with what Alvin said that in the next couple of years, Jamal Shed's going to be looking like such a good pick in the second round for the Raptors more and more. And he's going to be known as one of the steals of the draft. Seriously, it's so good. It's so, so good. Thank you, Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster. You guys are geniuses for seeing that Jamal Shed is a genius. And the crazy thing is, think about this. Jamal came into our team, and he lost more than he's ever lost in his career at the beginning of the season. And it felt weird to him because he's used to winning, man. And Houston, he had one of the highest winning percentages of any college athlete ever in the NCAA. And it's like he won at every level, even before that. And he comes to the NBA and he loses a bunch with the Raptors at the beginning of the season. He's not used to that. He likes winning. And well, when the Raptors were in better shape in the second half of the season, well, he showed just how much of an impact he can have on winning and how he's a winner in winning ways. That's right. I love it. I love it. Jamal Shed, you just keep going, man. Seriously, you're a badass. And you know what? The other thing is, have you noticed his threes are going in now? Yeah. Yeah, it's all over. Like Alvin said, if he can make his threes consistently, this man's going to be a long-time NBA player, and he's going to be like that. He's going to be like that. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be like that. Trevor's saying that SGA dropped 31 points for the win over the Bucks. He also had his 12th game win 40-plus points this season. What? Well, you said he got 31 points, but he had his 12th, 40th game. What? That doesn't make no sense, Trevor. Either way, SGA is doing very well. And, we're proud of our Canadian guy. That's what's important here. In some ways, I'm not covering the whole NBA, but because it's Canadian content, I'll talk about SGA. That's fine. That's fine. Jimmy Pope said Masai made the call and said, lose this game, huh? Pope Positivity? I know some of our people in our chat last night were frustrated with the crumble and the loss last night. After leading the whole game, really, we were up by 16 during the game, and people were mad. Like, Fiercey was really mad in the chat. Monique was not happy with the collapse, and I get it. But I like I said, guys, we've got to just go ahead and go with the flow and whatever we're going to do in the moment. And it could very well be we're acting like we want to win the game the whole entire game, because this is the thing. If we play 48 minutes and we play 45 minutes of it all out the right way in the system, defensively on everybody, just playing perfect, playing the way we're supposed to. And then we take Scotty, Jakob, Jamal out of the game, and we put our end of our bench, the bottom of the bench out there. And this is the thing. We're playing the Trailblazers, who are not like the Sixers, who are not like the Jazz. They are a team that's kind of okay and still has something to play for, and they're trying to win. And they leave their starters out there. And we're playing, Garrett Temple, Colin Castleton, Orlando Robinson, AJ Lawson, and they're still playing Anthony Simons, who is absolutely the best player on the Portland Trailblazers roster since Dame Lillard left. And this is a guy who went to school of Lillard and it understands. He saw how Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar, would win games for them at the end of games. Well, what do you expect to happen? The most capable, best player on the court is Simons. And Simons went to work with the threes to make up that difference and make sure that the Blazers covered. Now, we don't have anybody on the other side that's capable. In fact, we have guys that have barely played in the league that are on two ways or just got converted, turning the ball over in the last 2 minutes of the game. Castleton and Orlando Robinson and AJ Lawson, those guys don't have the most experience in those crunch time periods. Well, Simons, they're playing their starters on the other side against our end of our bench, our C team. Well, what do you expect? Especially because it's a home game for them. They have a raucous crowd that really does get behind them and gets loud. And they did get in a factor, and they'll build them up and give them energy because the Portland fans have not seen many games that they've won this year. Of course, they're going to get behind them and get loud and give them a good boost right at the end of the game. And like I said, the most capable player on the court at the end of the game was Anthony Simons. And that man was dialed in from three, and he wanted to win the game for the Trailblazers. So if Jimmy wants to say Masai made the call, yeah, that's exactly right. Bobby and Masai did not want to win this game last night, and Darko sat the guys that would have helped us win the game. Obviously, Barnes, Pirtle, and Shed would have won that game for us if they had stayed in the game and closed it out. So, you can look at it any which way. I don't know how you get in trouble for tanking that way. We played them the whole entire game. Portland came up and won the game and earned it. So it's not like we did anything really screwy or messed up. It's just that we decided to play a development squad at the end of the game, and they failed. The crazy thing is we've been trying to do this for like the last 10 days or so, but our development team has won because they're badasses. Jacoby Walter hitting a game winner. That's part of it right there is like we've been trying to do what we did last night, but we haven't been successful because we've been too good and we've ended up winning games that we were kind of trying to slack and lose. So that's really what this is. And I'm not mad at this. I think that it's unrealistic for us to catch Chicago and get in the play-in. And I do feel like us staying kind of tethered near Philadelphia and Brooklyn is smart. They both won yesterday and we lost. So we're close to them again. We're only like a half game ahead of Philadelphia right now. And that's good. In some ways, we could still manipulate things and fall underneath them still to an extent. And I'm not saying that that's totally what I want to do. I want to get 30 wins still by the end of the season. But we'll just have to see how it goes. Once again, we win, we win. We lose, we win. And there's nothing to be upset about anything right now, Raptors fans. Because, it's not that I'm Tank Nation. I am not Tank Nation. You know that. But I also trust Bobby and Masai to know what's best for our team. And if they decide they want to do certain things for the ping pong balls and the draft, well, they know better than me because they live on the moon and I don't. So I won't question them if they're directing us to do what we did last night, like what happened. Jimmy, you're exactly right. The call was made, and the calls were made before, but they were just too damn good. They were just too damn good. They couldn't let it happen. G saying some fans are calling for Darko to be fired without realizing he's doing exactly what the front office wants. Well, these are people that just aren't dialed in correctly with the team. If somebody who's casual, who had not watched the Raptors all year or does not understand their current situation, saw the game last night, I could understand why they would think that the coach needs to be fired because of a collapse like that. It's stupid. They really don't understand, G. And that's the problem. There's a lot of ignorance. There's a lot of idiots. There's a lot of people that are low IQ that just are dumb and they just don't get it. And that's why in some ways a channel like mine is important. Tell them to come here. We'll educate them and we'll get them up to speed on why this happened this way. Because honestly, it's not a bad thing. I in some ways, all right, listen, we'll keep the receipt. And we have receipts from Portland last year too, because we lost to them twice last year and I hated it. I hated it. We lost in close games. And I remember. I'm not forgetting about the losses to Portland the last 2 years and last night. We could put that on there too. Because in some ways they were acting all celebratory and happy they beat us. Come on now. Y'all can't be feeling that good about winning against us the way we just kind of did what we did. Seriously. Y'all get all celebratory, like Klingon and all them, Demi Avdija acting like they won something. No, don't get like that, Portland Trailblazers. Seriously, y'all didn't. That was a hollow victory. Seriously, that was a hi. We're gonna give you one here. We're gonna give you one here, and y'all gonna act like, whoa, we won, woo. I guess it's been that year for them, where it's been really tough for them. Now we get to play them one more time. Let's not forget this. They got to come to Toronto before the end of the season, and well, maybe we kick their ass on our home court, and we get a little get back then. But yeah, any fan who's saying that Darko needs to be fired because of last night, you're not keeping up with what's going on here. Seriously, you're not keeping up. Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Rapid Freak Crew. Good morning to you, Kaz. Happy Monday morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day. There you go. Jimmy's saying exactly. It's obvious the front office has had a chat. I hate this position, but hey, it's the one we're in. We got to game it for our best future, is what it is. And this is what the players have been saying lately. They've been saying stuff like this. Look, we have to think about the long term. And the long term is the draft and developing our young players. And, we're doing both. In some ways, we're doing it exactly right. That whole game, we kicked their ass. We were the better team. We were dominating. We were up by 16. Scotty looked good. Jakob looked good. Oshai came back for the first game back, and he's throwing down alley-oop dunks right away, coming back in. He's just back in the starting lineup, didn't need no warm-up game, and he's out there catching lobs and throwing them down right away. I mean, everything went great about the game. In fact, the game went perfect. We lost. That's what I'm saying about it. So in some ways, Nets, Sixers win yesterday. We lose. This is all the way it's supposed to be right now. Bobby and Masai know better than anybody. Bobby and Masai know better than anybody right now what we're supposed to be doing. And Darko is just going along with the plan. He understands too. This season we're not playing for the play-in, obviously. And in some ways we're playing for the draft. We are. And I mean, listen, don't call me Tank Nation because I want to win every single time. But once again, I trust in Bobby Masai. And that overrides whatever I think. I won't say we should tank unless they are wanting us to. And that's all I'll say on that. That's right. Stargate saying if we go around, follow what some fans say, all the time this franchise would have been moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, or Boise, Idaho by now. Yeah, Stargate saying if we just follow what the fans want, if we had a populist decision making for our team, which is like some teams, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of how New York and LA run. The Lakers and the Knicks. They are very sensitive to what their fans want and their demands, and they listen to them often, and they screw up all the time. No, being a populist GM in the NBA, like listening to the popular opinions of the fans, is not a good way to run your team because the fans are idiots. Let's just put it that way. And Stargate's exactly right. If we let fans run our team, this would be ridiculously stupid. No, there's a reason why you have one person in charge, and in this case, it's Masai Ujiri at the end where the buck stops. Right there. So in some ways, the vision and the guidance and the captainship of Masai Ujiri is giving us our great success over the last over 10 years. So that's the important thing. You don't let the fans run the team. It's not like we're going to put up some polls and say, let's let the fans run the team. Should we do that? Let's do that. Let's be really meta right here and stupid. Should fans run NBA teams? I'm going to make a poll so we can see if y'all can decide this to, NBA teams. Is this right or not? All right, there's the poll for today. Should fans run NBA teams, y'all? There you go. There you go. There's a poll for today. Let's see how y'all answer on that. Oh, we know the answer is no. All right, let's see. Jimmy's saying Darko is still getting valuable development in these losses. I love him as our coach. He's a genius on the down low. No, he is really. Like, Shed looks so capable right now. Seriously, like he's really reading the floor really well. Like him and Scott are similar for this. Scotty had a post on Instagram the other day saying life is a puzzle and I'm going to solve it. Well, this is the NBA is a puzzle too. And each individual player in the league is their own little mini puzzle. And each team is their own puzzle. And Scotty's learning the puzzles of the NBA. Like this is the Trailblazers puzzle. And this is Anthony Simons puzzle and stuff like that. And Shed's the same thing as a backup point guard. He's got to know the tendencies of the players and understand where he can gain advantages. And Scotty, it's the same thing with his combination of size and speed and athleticism. He's just got to break down his opponent and figure out their puzzle. And when he figures out their puzzle, he can take them apart and destroy them and win. And that's the thing. And Shed is thinking the same way as a backup point guard and how to guide the team. I really love Shed's decision making. He's done some things in the game last night that really shows like the lineage of Lowry and Van Vliet before him. In fact, Matt Devlin said that at one point. Shed ran up the court and took a transition three. And he said, that looks familiar to me, Alvin. That three, taking a quick three in transition. Yeah, Kyle Lowry. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, Shed Van Vliet, or the new version of Kyle Lowry for our team, is coming up. And he's got the same kind of up here as those two other guys. That's the thing. It's IQ, not just IQ. IQ has IQ too, but it's IQ in their heads. And Jamal Shed's a genius. He's a very, very smart man. And he is along the lines of very smart men named Van Vliet and Lowry playing for the Raptors. So I'm excited about this. In some ways, like I've said recently, I feel like Jamal's ahead of Fred on his schedule because he is drafted and Fred was undrafted. And Fred had a year, his rookie year, where he didn't do hardly anything. He really was buried and barely played at all on the regular Raptors. He played a lot on 905, but he didn't play as much on the regular Raptors. So Shed is coming along really, really nice. And some of it's reading the court. He had this really crazy long court pass over to the corner to Jamison Battle, and he just nailed the three. And it was a vision. It's his vision, and it's his decision making. And also the other thing is he's getting better with his three. And then also Shed is really good at finding lanes that open up in the court and driving to the basket and making little floaters and shots off the glass, like up over taller defenders. So there's a lot there that's really awesome. And he honestly is a totally different player than when he showed up as a rookie at the beginning of the season. In some ways, this has been a long season for Jamal Shed, but he's so much better now than he was in November. Let's just put it that way. He is somewhere else now. Yeah, Jimmy, I love it too, man. Darko's a genius. He really is. And seriously, Darko's a development genius if he pulls off Jakob Poeltl getting a three-point shot in his NBA portfolio very soon. Seriously, think about that. I'm talking about Jakob Poeltl is going to become a three-point shooter next year. All of a sudden, think about how that opens things up for the Raptors in different ways. If he has to be watched out for that corner three. Seriously, it's going to be crazy. Smooth saying, Suns crazy dysfunctional. KD got heated with the coach Bud. Yeah, they're like openly yelling at each other. I saw that clip of Tibbs and Josh Hart. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, KD Bud trying to talk to him and KD just slapping him away. I don't want to talk to you. Yikes. Yeah, I think that Kevin Durant in some ways is a broken NBA player. He's broken in a couple different ways. He's broken in the way that he just is jaded. He's so freaking jaded at this point that he's just in a weird place in his career. It sucks. It's sad. I wish he was more like DeMar, honestly. If Kevin Durant was more like DeMar DeRozan, I have no idea where he would be with the scoring and like his accolades and maybe won titles. It's just either you're like DeMar DeRozan or you're not. And if you're not like DeMar DeRozan, even if you're one of the most talented players in the league, LeBron and Kevin, you're just not going to get to the whole full potential of who you could have been because you're not DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's getting exactly the most out of his life and his NBA career that he could have. Seriously. Longevity and very much consistent his whole entire career with his numbers. And in some ways, that's showing why DeMar is in the top 30 of all-time scorers in the NBA at this point in the history of the NBA. Now, Kevin's up there too, but what I'm saying is just think about if Kevin had been like DeMar his whole entire career, striving and achieving and taking this really seriously, would he be up there with LeBron, up there on the scoring charts even higher? Maybe not as hurt so much. We'll never know. In some ways, Kevin Durant didn't take his NBA career as serious as he could have, is what I'm saying. Just like Kawhi, too. Fiercely saying, happy morning, fam. Happy game day. Good morning, MJ. Good to see you. So fun in the chat last night. I know we're aiming to develop and putting the players in tough situations, but it's hella annoying to watch. Had Shed, Scotty, and Yak remain in the four, done deal. Of course. And we know this. And that's why, in some ways, I mean, it's not a moral victory. It's not a victory. We didn't even win. But in some ways, we know this, MJ. We would have won if we put them in there. I know. And I know it's frustrating. And I know, as you said, we're competitors and we want to compete and we want to win. Well, I get that. I totally get that. But in some ways, we're thinking about competing next year We're thinking about competing in 2 years from now. And in some ways, not competing right now may be better for our competing later. And that's what we have to think about. Once again, I very much enjoyed the game last night, even though we lost. I'm not upset that we lost. And that's part of it is all the pressure's off on whether we win or lose. So we got to just be this way for the rest of the year because there's going to be more games like this coming up. In fact, there will be one tonight, probably. Seriously, I could see us kicking the Suns' ass for almost all the game. And then halfway through the fourth quarter, we'll do the same thing tonight also. So just be ready for it, okay? And understand that, well, for most of the 48 minutes, we're beating the other team's ass. And then we roll over and let them get it at the end. And that's all part of the plan. You're getting both things checked off, development and good things happening with the young players getting time and also doing things the right way, playing with a really good effort, playing together, playing really as a team with assists and also covering each other in communication on defense and just playing really high level ball. But then, not having the most talented team at the end and them having their best talented team and them beating us just at the end, just barely. That's exactly the perfect way. Some people say this is the most ethical of tanking. The most ethical of tanking. So ethical. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Rapid Freak crew. Jakob in a 3. Laugh out loud. That was hilarious. That was so crazy. I did not have that on my bingo card, Cool Cat. That we're going to start the game, and right away we're going to see a Kawhi Leonard bounce shot from Jakob Poeltl in the corner. So crazy. It was like so different and weird. But like I said, apparently this has all been coming out last night that Jakob has been hitting these in practice regularly. And this is like not something weird to the team. It's just they put it on public display for the first time. And once again, this is the kind of stuff that they do behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff we're working on all the time that we don't see the light of day until it's absolutely ready and perfected. And some of this stuff has to do with Scottie. And we saw some of it last night. Darko always says, I want Scottie to be more like Giannis. He's trying to get him to build into being a transition player that's very scary coming downhill that you can't stop. And there were a couple of moments last night where Scott got the ball in transition and he was very aggressively attacking the lane. And he did some Giannis stuff where he was running in, taking a little bit of contact and throwing the ball up, and it was bouncing off the backboard and going in. And that is the vision that Darko said when he first took the job, that I want to build Scottie into more like an Antetokounmpo in some ways in that aspect of offense, where we're coming in transition. He's a force. He scares the shit out of the other team's defense. They don't know what to do, and he's coming right in down the lane. He's going to put some points in real fast. And we saw that a couple times last night, and Scottie being very successful with it. But this is something that he's been working on probably even before Darko came in. But we're starting to see it more revealed in the game, along with the turnarounds, the post work, and attacking the rim that he's done in the last 2 games. So that's the thing. Jakob's working on 3-point shot in practice. We may see it more and more in the games coming up. I'm telling you, we may very well. Yeah, Jimmy's saying, I wouldn't have guessed that Suns experiment would have gone this bad. Kind of crazy, actually. I saw it, and I called it when it happened. When they got Bradley Beal, I said, they're going to suck. I knew it, exactly. First of all, Bradley Beal is one of those kind of players. There's a reason why Washington was mired for all those years he was there, because he's a losing player. He brings losing with him. I'm sorry, guys. Some players are very, very talented in this league, and they can score a lot and be like a top-level talent, but they suck, and they will always lose. And Bradley Beal is one of those guys. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. It's partly because of his player build. He's a high-usage guy who's not efficient. And that just puts your team in a bad place, because you're going to have to use a guy a lot to get any use out of him. And he's going to be kind of shitty a third of the time. He's going to be horrible. He's going to be okay. And then maybe just a little bit good. And he's older. So I knew, because I was like, Phoenix doesn't need him. They have Devin Booker. Why the hell would they go get Bradley Beal? This is going to mess up their salary cap. And it did. And their team's going to be garbage. I called it as soon as they got Beal. And in some ways, the stuff with Kevin is the same thing. Kevin, since he left Golden State, has not been a winning player. He's on teams that are horrible lately, like the Brooklyn and now Phoenix. And it's really because in some ways he's checked out. He's not the best leader for a team. You got to think about what I was just saying. If he was more like DeMar, he would be something different. But he isn't. He has all the talent in the world. He has all this, but in some ways, he's just kind of living through his life, honestly. and it's not going to help where he goes anywhere else. It's a problem with him. And Bradley Beal is another problem all in its own. So, yeah, you have two huge problems, and they're two of your most important players. That's why I would say Phoenix needs to get rid of those two guys and hold on to Booker, because Booker's still the only one that's actually a winning player for them. Seriously. I guessed it, and I said it. You can go back in my archive, and you can see when the Bradley Beal deal happened. I always said this is a fail right away. Right away, I knew it was a fail. Fiercely saying, but so fun to watch. Jakob hitting the three, and also that's sledgehammer. Whoa. I want to be dun, dun, your sledgehammer. Bah, bah. Why don't you call my name? Call me for a three. I want to be dun, dun, your Austrian hammer. Dun, dun. Yeah. Some Peter Gabriel. That's right. Why don't you call my name? Yeah. So awesome. Fiercely saying, fam, I added 2 comments. Do you see the first one starting with morning fam? I don't see it. I do see the morning fam, and I do see you with the fire. Remember, there's top chat and live chat, and you may be top chatting yourself out, but I do see your comments. Stargate saying, apparently Darko told Alvin before the game to look out for the first play he calls, then looked over at Alvin when Jakob hit the shot. That's hilarious. I didn't hear this part. That's so funny. All right, Stargate, you're going to get a dunk for inside information. I did not know this. That I didn't hear this in the broadcast, I guess, at that moment when they said that. That's hilarious. So Darko came over to Alvin Williams before the game. He said, Alvin, watch what we do at the beginning of the game. You're going to like it. And Alvin's like, all right, coach. All right, coach. And then, boom, it's a Jakob three. That's hilarious. That is so funny. That's so funny. 39 points for you, Stargate, on the dunk charts right now. Yeah, good job. 13 dunks for you this season so far. Yeah, GC says he can see your comments, Fierce. So you're good. You're good. This is odd. I don't know what's going on there. You're good. Reggie is saying against the Lakers yesterday, it happened. Second time this year. It was second time this year. What happened against the Lakers? Somebody got hurt. G saying Shed is a winner. You can see it and feel it. Oh, he's a winner. He's a winner, and he's going to help people win. He's going to help the Raptors win, and I'm excited, man. Jamal's an awesome guy, man. I really do like Jamal. You know what? Let's do the stars of the game since we're talking about the game right now anyway. All right, my first star of the game last night is Jakob Poeltl. Jakob was just the star with his three and his Austrian hammer dunk. Yeah, in 25 minutes, Yak was 9 of 13, which is great shooting. He hit his only three, 1 of 1. So good. He did miss his free throws, though, 0 for 2 at the free throw line. And one of his free throws went over there. It's like it went like sideways somewhere. It was really weird. 5 offensive rebounds for Yak, though, with 8 rebounds altogether, 3 assists, 2 steals. That one steal was awesome, which led to the fast break dunk. But yeah, 2 steals for Yak. No blocks, though. Plus 12 with 19 points in 25 minutes. It's just a fun game. You can tell he's having fun. He's doing things totally different, and his teammates love him. Like, I can really tell Scotty is bonded with Yak at this time. Like, when they were sitting on the bench at one point, Scotty was just beaming with pride about what Jakob was doing on the court last night. Like, he's just like, dude, you're so cool, man. You can tell it's like that, man. You can tell that's like that. My second star of the game is Jamal Shed. Yeah, we're talking about the 2 stars right now. Shed in 25 minutes was 3 of 5 from the field, all of them 3-point attempts. He did not take a 2-point shot. He was 3 of 5 from the field, and they were all 3-pointers. 3 of 5 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Hey, don't miss the free throw. 2 rebounds. Okay, but 6 assists with 0 turnovers. So he got 3 of 5 from 3, and he got 6 assists with 0 turnovers. Jamal with 10 points in 25 minutes, and also the highest plus minus on the team, plus 21. And that's the thing. I'm telling you, he would have helped them win at the end of the game. And that is a high honor, and really shows that not only is Scotty and Yak got to be held out of the game, but Jamal's got to be held out of the game because he can go and win it if they leave him out there in the last 2 minutes. So, yeah, there you go. 3 of 5 from 3. Keep shooting, Jamal. And I love the confidence in the transition 3. And, like, he really is shooting confident threes right now, which is really, really good. Really, really good. My third star of the game is Ochai Agbaji, returning to the lineup from his ankle injury finally. Starting 25 minutes for Ochai, 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. So he hit a couple threes. 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, a plus 7 with 19 points. It's just really nice to see him running up and down the court. Of course, Agbaji is a great defensive player. And also, he's a fantastic finisher. And we love seeing him finish at the rim around defenders, whether it's an up and under, using the rim as protection, whether it's just him using his strength and going right at a big guy like Klingon and making sure he makes it. There's a lot of that kind of stuff with Oshai. He's such a valuable player, honestly, guys. In some ways, Oshai Abaji is a keeper, along with all of our other guys. They're keepers too, like Shed and Walter and Dick. So Abaji, for his defense and his finishing and his spot threes, bravo, bravo. I think we could do honorable mentions here. Scotty gets an honorable mention. He had a career high in steals last night. He got 6 steals. That's the most steals he's ever gotten in a game. And some of it was because he was just kind of a floater on defense last night with Yak in the game and Yak lining up with Klingon and really taking the big body. And everybody else on the Blazers team is more like a guard forward. Kamara is a good sized guy, but in a lot of ways he plays like forward and not like or like small forward. And Scotty could be more of a floater on defense, and he was getting in passing lanes and just stealing balls because Portland, like Utah, is a very poor passing team and it causes a lot of turnovers. So Scotty feasted on that. He feasted on that. He was a little bit like Charlie Brown Jr. or AJ Lawson and getting in the passing lanes and stealing that ball with 6 steals. Scotty did have a little bit of a demonic stat line with 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 6 steals. But 4 of 11 from the field. He missed his only 3-point attempt, 8 of 9 at the free throw line. Yeah, 5 turnovers also for Scott, that's a problem. Plus 4, 16 points with 28 minutes. Not bad. Jamison Battle got in foul trouble early, and he fouled out by the end of the game. And Monique was wondering, why is he not playing as much in the early? Because they were giving him crazy fouls right away. Like he was kind of playing out of position and having to play some big guys. And that's tough. Like he was getting mixed up down low with Klingon and different people. And he got some really cheap fouls in the first quarter. And that made him have to go and sit. So 3 of 7 for Jamison Battle, 3 of 5 from 3. I like the 3 of 5 from 3. That was very helpful. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, plus 6 with only 9 points for Jamison. Foul trouble. And he fouled out at the worst time, even too. That there was a real screw up by Colin Castleton at that point. We were trying to foul for purpose because of the clock, but he was not getting the memo. In some ways, Colin was playing off of the guy, and he should have fouled first. But Jamison caught it, and he fouled, but it was his 6th foul. So he had to leave the game. So Castleton, you screwed up in this last 2 minutes of game. You should have done the forced foul yourself when you were close to the guy with the ball in that moment. But Jamison was the one who ran over. And we don't want to foul out our best 3-point shooter when we're down by that much at that point. So Jamison had to come out, and Garrett came in for him at that point. And that's too bad. But that's a rookie mistake, Colin Castleton. And I know you're not exactly a rookie. But in some ways, man, that was a big screw up. You needed to eat that foul at that point. Seriously. You needed to eat that foul. You only had 3 fouls. Then you could have taken another foul. But Jamison with 5, he shouldn't have gotten that foul and fouled out at that moment. One of y'all needed to go foul the Blazer at that time because there should have been a foul, a purposeful foul at that time. But y'all let so much time run off the clock, too. You let it go down to 5 seconds, and nobody was fouling. They didn't get the memo from the coach, obviously. That was part of the problem right there. Off the bench, Garrett Temple, 1 for 7 from the field in 24 minutes, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, a minus 13 with only 2 points. That's not why Garrett's out there. Garrett's out there to guide. Garrett's out there to teach. Garrett's out there to direct and play backup point guard, which is crazy. He's the backup point guard in this situation. Castleton did have that error late in the game, as I said. There were rookie mistakes late in the game between Castleton, Robinson, and Lawson. And that's just going to come with the territory, honestly. Castleton, 3 for 10 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 9 offensive rebounds, though, man. He was really killing it on the offensive rebounds, and I appreciate you for it. 12 altogether, 2 assists, 5 turnovers, minus 15 with 8 points. Colin Castleton's a work in progress, but he got the second 10-day yesterday, and we'll have to see. In 10 more days, we'll have to decide on him for the rest of the season and whether he's going to stick around for good. I think he will. I think he's showing a lot of promise, and he's doing a lot of interesting things, but he is making mistakes still. Orlando Robinson, I thought, was a little bit better than Castleton, but in some ways, he was still making mistakes too. 4 of 12 from the field for him. He missed all 3 of his threes. 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, a minus 27, the worst plus minus for the Raptors last night, with 10 points. Those guys are big and strong, and they're getting in there and mixing it up. And in some ways, Donovan Clingan was very disrespectful to those two guys with the contact and hitting them around. And once again, the refs are not calling shit that they should be calling. Oshai Baji goes up to the basket and he has a dunk and it's clean, and Kamara hits him out of the air. That's normally a foul, Ben Taylor. But you guys decided last night, when people are going to the rim for dunks, that they're open season and people can just hit them in the air. Scotty, the game before, he had like 3 dunks that were messed up because he got fouled every time he'd go to the rim. And y'all didn't call jack shit. It's almost like you're telling me, yeah, you got to be strong enough and aggressive enough to just complete it, even if you're getting fouled like crazy. And it was funny. At one point in the game last night, Scotty was freaking out on the refs preemptively, but they actually did call the N1 for him. And he was like, oh, and he calmed down. He was like, he was freaking out at first. And then they're like, oh, they did call the M1, and I'm going to the line, and they counted the basket. So he's kind of smiling and laughing after that. But his first initial reaction is to expect them not to blow the whistle and to freak out and be upset about it. I don't know. Scotty's handling his reactions to the referees way better in this season than in years past. He absolutely caused problems for us with being too upset with the refs in his earlier career, but he's getting very more savvy and understanding. He's got to pay attention to the game and get back on defense, and he can't be complaining to the refs. And also, complaining to the refs too much is not going to help. Seriously. AJ Lawson in the game, 33 minutes, 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover, a -10 with 9 points. We just needed him to score. Once again, this is the feast or famine of AJ Lawson. You get a 30-point game from him on when he's shooting well, but if he's not shooting well, he shoots 4 for 14. You get a 9-point game from him, and he shot 14 shots. So that's just not good enough, AJ. In some ways, you're going to have to find consistency with your offense. But you were doing a lot of good active stuff on the court defensively, and I really do like how your defense is, and that stuff is going to keep you on the big league with the defensive activity. But if you make more shots, that'll always help too. Jonathan Mobo did not get in this game. He was available to play, but he did not play. So I'm guessing that Darko decided that he wanted to give him another day of rest before throwing him back out there. And then Boucher did not get to play against the Trailblazers in Portland, which is sad. In some ways, I don't like that. I really do not like that. But it is the decision of the Raptors to make for whatever reason they're doing it, for whatever reason. On the other side, we'll give a little bit of shine to Anthony Simmons, who was 6 of 12 from 3 with 22 points. Yeah, he was the one who came and won the game at the end of the game. Kamara also very good with 21 points, 5 of 10 from 3 also. The 3-point shots were the only thing that kept the Blazers in this game and won them this game. If they don't shoot threes and make them, they don't win this game. They don't have any chance of competing with us because we beat them in every other aspect of this game other than 3-point shooting. And that's where they beat us with those two players in particular. A little bit of Avija too, with his 3 of 6. So those 3 players shot 50% from 3 themselves, with a collective 14 of 28 from 3. So what can you do when you got that kind of stuff going on? There's your box score. Looking at the players of the game. Yeah. Let's see what else is going on here. Jimmy Sanchez has it. If you know, you know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We know what you're talking about. Kyle Lowry has it also. Fiercely saying, I see my name, but it is blank beside. Anyhow, welcome back to Oshai. Once again, valuable. And our defenses, the first quarter was clamps. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we were kicking their butt. Let's talk about our friend Delano real quick. He is really, it's sad. In some ways, he's not getting anywhere in Portland, obviously. They don't use him correctly. Like, they don't actually use him as a point guard. He's just out there as a floater, kind of like shooting guy in the corner, where his biggest strength is coming downhill, bringing the ball quickly at the basket. So, man, I feel bad for Banton. In some ways, the opportunity for you in Trailblazers is not going to help your career, bro. And this may be stunting your growth in the NBA right now. Man, it's too bad you didn't work out in Toronto. But maybe you didn't take things as seriously as you should have when you were in Toronto, man. But either way, it's nice to see Delano last night. And very cool to see such great young Canadian talent on the court all at once with Shaedon Sharpe, Delano Banton, and AJ Lawson. Yeah, those guys, all 3 of them could end up being Team Canada guys in a big way for our national team in the years to come. I know Sharpe will be for sure. It remains to be seen about Banton and Lawson, but they could They could very well be important players for Team Canada in the years to come. Yeah. Fiercely saying Shed definitely has dog in him. He's amazing for our culture. Yeah, he's just a steady, humble, nice, smart guy who really gets it. And he's a team player. And I think that in some ways, he's very happy he's on the Raptors because in some ways, a player like him will be good wherever he goes. But he has more support and a system and things around him that's working towards helping him than if he was on a team like the Pelicans or something like that. It would be more confusing and not as weird. It'd be very weird, not as supportive. And I feel like that's part of what's accelerated his growth this year. To like I said in the middle of the game last night, I like he's a rookie, Lex. He's just a rookie, and look at the way he's playing right now. Look at the decision making. Look at the smarts. Look at there's some of it's stuff that you just don't learn right away in the NBA. It's like he's fast tracked. He just figured this stuff out really fast and he understands the NBA faster than man. It's amazing. It's honestly amazing, and it's a testament to how smart he is and just how smart he is. Yeah. Delano's fiercely saying Delano's game's not progressing. Yeah, I was just saying that it would have been good for him to be developed under Darko as opposed to Nick Nurse. Unfortunate. Yeah. Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. We can't change timelines, and everything is exactly how it is. It's always best to stay in the now, and the now is right now. And well, Delano's time with the Raptors is past. Maybe he comes back around here at some point in his career. Maybe not. Either way, he's always going to be having his place in the history of the Raptors, and he's always going to be a cherished Raptor alumni and a hometown hero. Either way, so we love Delano. And you know what? It is what it is. Guys like Banton and Koloko, well, they got to find out, the grass is not greener in other places than Toronto. Seriously, it really isn't. At this point, you can tell our team is just a fun place to be. And it's just a really good, encouraging place. This is a place where you come to make money. You can ask Fred, you can ask OG, you can ask Pascal. You come to Toronto, you do things right here, you're going to make a lot of money in your life. And that's the stuff that's going to be very much in the face of Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, and Jamal Shed in the years to come. Seriously. We may lose them at some point, just like those other guys. But God willing, we'll get a championship before these guys have to get paid in a major way. Yeah, Tristan Trey saying Jimmy Shed fits right in. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that he would bring winning to any team he's on, but it would be different levels. Like in the Wizards, there's only a certain level of how much he could bring up them with winning. But with Toronto in the right atmosphere, with the right great things like medical, a fantastic general manager, good coach that really is listening. And, Shed can probably talk to Darko because this is the way Darko is. He takes advice from everybody on the team, coaches and players alike. And, well, Shed has ideas and he has things that he sees. He can talk to Darko and Darko will listen to him and might even use some of them. So that's it's really like Darko's smart because he really utilizes his brain trust. And he's not such an arrogant guy that he's like, I'm just the end all be all. I know more about basketball than anybody else here. Now, he may very well know more basketball than anybody else here, but he's not throwing that in other people's faces. And if Scotty and Jamal's coming to him with ideas about things with the team, he's listening to them and he's very much considering them. They might feel really like good because you know what, Darko just listened to me on this and it's working. And wow, I feel more encouraged and more confident myself because of that. I'm telling you, that's part of what's happening with our team behind the scenes right now. Yeah. Fiercey saying, Lex, I was mad because I'm a competitor at heart. If our best players are in and we lose, I can accept it. But if we're obviously experimenting in hopes we lose, that's the part that annoys me. Well, see, this is the thing, Fiercey. You're giving yourself unnecessary upsetness because you're not understanding what's going on here. In some ways, it's not about winning or losing right now. In some ways, it's just about what the direction for us long term is. I get this. We're all competitors. I want to beat people at Go Fish. I want to beat people at 21 on the basketball court. I want to beat people, in a race in the car. I mean, we're all competitors. I get what you're saying. But you have to understand our special situation right now. And even if we were like last year, we had no chance of winning these games because we were so hurt and we were in a bad place and we were playing Javon Freeman Liberty and Jordan Wara. And this year we have the ability to do it, but in some ways we don't want to. I get what you're saying. In some ways it's like, does a doctor have a Hippocratic oath to protect their patient's confidentiality? Yes. Does a reporter have confidentiality agreement with his sources so that he doesn't get them in danger? Yes. Do a professional athlete have a dedication to try their hardest and go all out to win every time? Yes, a lot of them do. And our coaches and players do have this. But you can manipulate your chances to win by not playing certain players. And once again, I get that it annoys you, but we have to understand that Darko and Masai and Bobby are doing this for a very specific reason. And they feel like this will be the best for us in the long term. And that we can't be upset about. Suffering is an option. You don't have to suffer in your life, is what I'm trying to teach right now. You don't have to suffer and say, I'm annoyed and upset about this. That's your choice. You have to look at it in the right perspective, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want to choose. I choose not to suffer on this. Yeah, sure, the Raptors fall apart and lost a game last night, but I'm not upset about it because I see the bigger picture. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you, Fiercey. I love that you're a competitive spirit and the way you are. And I want you to root for the Raptors like that. But right now, it's not the time. Right now, there's a totally different weird situation, just currently, right now. And you know how I am normally for this team and the way I talk about things. And we will get back to that. It's just for the rest of the season. We're in this mode right now. And that's why, in some ways, I'm like, everybody who's upset about anything that the Raptors do right now, you're being silly right now because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And that's why I'm saying there's no pressure on us at all. Whether we win or we lose, we should just be happy Raptors fans because either we're getting the delight of seeing a Raptors win or we're going towards what is good for us long term. So we can't lose right now. That's the amazing thing about it right now. Other people that hate our team are going to say everything we do is wrong no matter what we do. And I'm saying right now, everything we do right now is right no matter what we do. So it's a lot of it's perspective, and the suffering is a choice, is what I would say. There you go. There you go. Tristan said, I love you, MJ, by the way. And I love that we're talking about this because in some ways, this is important to talk out and figure out and get on the same page with because I love you. I don't want you to be upset and annoyed because we lost to the Trailblazers last night. In some ways, I want you to understand it like I do right now. I know you do. I know you understand it. And I don't want to be condescending in what I'm saying. I'm just trying to elaborate more just to kind of, not just for you, but for all Raptors fans in some ways. Tristan saying Shed, Battle, AJ, Bench Mob, Jacoby, Grady, plus Biggs. That's good. We've got a plethora of great young players coming up, and all of them are under 25. And that includes Scotty and RJ and Emmanuel and 25 and less. It's crazy how good this team's going to be in the next 2 years, guys. I mean, we're already really good, and we haven't even added Brandon Ingram. Nah, we are full strength and we're absolutely fully healthy. With the added draft pick that we're going to get this summer, we're going to be kicking so much ass next year. God willing, we will have health and we will just roll through the Eastern Conference next year. And we will be a top 4 Eastern team with home court advantage in the playoffs by next year. I'm fully predicting this right now. If Brandon Ingram is able to be healthy for most of next year, and the barbecue is also, most of our key players are healthy, and our young players continue to strive and achieve and get better and better like they are already, we are going to the playoffs, and we will go past the first round even next year too. I'm going to say that right now because in some ways on the down low, we have experience with this. RJ Barrett, Manuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, and Scotty Barnes all in some ways have a little bit of playoff experience, and they all kind of want to get out there again and try it again, in theory, is what I'm saying. It's going to be fun, man. Fiercely saying, it is honestly a turnoff as I don't want to risk buying tickets and dealing with traveling expenses if I know ahead of time we're losing on purpose. Had I lived in Toronto, less of an issue. Well, I would say this, even if you come, I mean, this is the thing. You're never guaranteed on whether you're going to win or not if you come here. You can ask Tom Duke. Every single time he came here from Vancouver, we lost every single game. I don't think Tom came to a game where we won. Was there one game we won that he came and saw? No. We lost every single of the 3 games he came to see. And that's sad, and that sucks. I hate that. There's no guarantee we're going to win if you come. At any point, any time, any trip. I'm just saying, you might actually have an easier time getting to a win right now at the end of this season because these games are so easy. Seriously. I get why you wouldn't want to spend the money and come to see them lose. I get that totally. And that's why I would say, well, pick a game that you know would probably win for sure is the smart way to do it. I mean, I wouldn't judge whether you should buy tickets to a Raptors game on what we're doing right now. Next season, buy tickets to a Raptors game when Brandon Ingram's healthy. It's gonna be fun. Maybe not come this year. Maybe not come this year. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But next year, yeah. And it won't be annoying then. It's just this is temporary. You got to understand this is temporary. This is not the way it's always going to be. That's for sure. Mo's here. Good to see super fan Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. I love you, Mo. I was so happy to watch the game with you in the chat last night. And even though it was a roller coaster game, there was a lot of fun moments. And I know it was a little bit of letdown at the end. But you know what? It was a good outcome for certain reasons. Certain reasons. That's right. Tristan saying, "What's up, everyone?" There you go. Kareem Thomas is here. What's up, Kareem? What's up, man? I guess that was Matisse Thybulle revenge game. Laugh out loud. Wait, was he even a Raptor? No, he's not. He was never a Raptor. But in some ways, Thybulle does have some revenge to get at us. Maybe from years on other teams in the Eastern Conference playing against us. There were different issues. But Thibault was interesting. He hadn't played in like almost a year. He's had very serious injuries, and he got into a game for the first time, like in a long, long time. And they specifically put him in to stop Scotty. Yeah, Chauncey Billups putting in Matisse Thybulle in the third quarter. He didn't even put him in early. He's like, we're going to change things now. I do have to give Billups a lot of credit. We came out in the first quarter and kicked their ass, and he made some adjustments, and they were very, very good adjustments that they got it tied by halftime. And then in the second half, he brought in Thybulle to play against Scotty. And that was a really that actually helped. He was really bothering Scotty at times. Now, Scotty did get some positive things on him at the same time, but Thybulle was very much brought in just to slow down Barnes. And then at the end of the game, he did block the shot that Orlando Robinson tried to shoot for the three. So, yeah, Thybulle, he's an Olympian. He's a longtime player in the NBA. He knows a lot and stuff, and he's just kind of like that guy. He's a specialty player. But that's in some ways that's an honor to Scott, a compliment that Chauncey Billups felt like he needed to put in such a high caliber defensive player to slow down Scotty Barnes. And that's what that was right there. Yeah. Thybulle. Yeah. It's weird, man. That guy's annoying, man. He was like that anti-vax guy. He couldn't come to Toronto for a while because he wouldn't take the vax. Remember that? Fiercey saying, I came to the playoffs a few years ago against the Sixers. We won the game. I attended and it was magnificent. We lost the series, but I was good with it as I had a great experience. That's awesome. So that was in the Scotty playoff series in his rookie year where we lost to Philly and Precious was guarding Joel Embiid. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, there was a good game in Toronto during that series where we did win. Yeah, that was a tough series. And Scotty's injury and Gary's sickness were two huge factors in losing that series. And like Alvin has said, if Scotty doesn't twist his ankle, Joel Embiid doesn't step on him. And Gary Trent Jr. on the down low doesn't have a flu that's mysterious that nobody knows about. And it was like, what the fuck is wrong with Gary Trent Jr.? Well, we find out a week into the playoffs that he's absolutely sick. And that's what's going on with him. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that could have happened different where we would have won that Philadelphia series the last time we were in the playoffs. And Scotty being healthy is one of them right there. Yeah. That's awesome that you got to go to the win in that series, Fiercely. That's awesome. Tristan saying Lex best Raptors channel. I appreciate that, Tristan. I really do. That means a lot, man, because there's a lot of Raptors stuff out there, and we're just trying to keep it real. The most important thing about being in this channel is you love the Raptors. You better really want to cheer for them and not be half-ass gaslighting them. Because if you do, I'll suss you out. I will suss you out if you're half-ass gaslighting them. That's right, Tristan Trey. That's right. I know you're a real one. I met you a couple times. You're badass, man. Tristan is awesome. I always love seeing Tristan when I'm out. Let's see. Mo's saying Darko rotation just needs to work. That's right, G. That's right. It worked perfectly, Mo. And I know you were saying, all right, Lex, you got to explain this to me. Well, don't play Jakob. Don't play Scotty. Don't play Jamal. We lose. And that's what they wanted last night. Yeah, Nako does not like Thybulle. He's saying, fuck Thybulle. Never been a Raptor. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Thybulle either. He's just kind of weird, arrogant guy. And, of course, he's on the French team, right? He's a French guy. And I don't like any of the French guys. I mean, I kind of like Victor, but most of the guys that are on Team France, I do not like. I do not like most of their team. I mean, Gershon's okay, even though he's a Sixer and Team France. Like, Yabusele's kind of cool. But in most of that team, I don't like them. I don't like Team France. No, I don't. Congratulations to Nako the Nacho. He's officially in the playoffs. You got that 8th spot. The playoffs are set for our Raptor Freak Fantasy League. There's one more week of regular season, but it really kind of is going to just figure out who's in which spot in the matchups. But we have basically the playoffs set. We'll have to see who plays who. Right now, David, Amazon Assassins, will be playing Gerald in the first round. That's a very tough order, the number 1 seed against the number 8. So Team Canada, Gerald, be ready. Andrew's Toronto Shamshays will be playing Peter Saborin's team. He's the defending champion. MK will be playing me in the first round, our WNBA fantasy champion. And then in the other bracket, it looks like Trucker Kaz is going to be playing original Raptor Freak fantasy champion Jason Dukes with Duke Rocks. That's a great 8 teams. 8 of the best teams in the league that have been so competitive. We've got champions all over the place between David, Peter, MK, Jason Dukes. These are all guys that won fantasy championships on our channel, and they're 4 of the teams of the 8 that are in our playoffs. So, Nako, you got a hard first round against former trivia commissioner David Saborin. Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Kaz is saying, I know teams beat us and act all excited like we're not trying to lose. I know, it's so goofy. Like when they win, you really see like, man, they really have not been winning much this year if they're going this crazy like this. And the Trailblazers were like that. There was a game like when Orlando beat us in that game with Jamal Shed and Josh Tiven making the decision. They acted like they won something. No, you idiots. Orlando, you shouldn't be celebrating that last second like shot that Jamal went. That would have went in the old NBA. I'm sorry. If they don't have the replay shit that they do now, the NBA saying the Raptors win because they hit a last second shot and they don't look at the minute little detail. Seriously, they'd give us that win and we would have had a 7-game winning streak without that one little blemish of that Orlando game in there. We would have had a 7-game winning streak. Well, we wouldn't after last night. It would have ended at 7 games because we did lose to Portland last night. Fiercely saying, oh my God, Scoot Henderson is not it. Dribbling and focusing on crazy handles rather than playing good fundamentals. Dame didn't need to feel threatened, honestly. Yeah, I don't even know if he was threatened by that. I think he was just sick of the scenery in Portland, but I think he regrets leaving Portland, honestly. Although Milwaukee did win the in-season tournament, and they may have a chance to do some noise in the playoffs this year. It's weird. There's articles out saying Kyle Kuzma's been just what the Bucks needed. And I'm like, really? Kyle Kuzma's just what the Bucks needed to help Giannis and Dame Lillard? That's weird to me, man. The one thing I noticed about Scoot Henderson last night is that he's smaller in his arms. Like he does not have the same huge muscles he had when he was coming into the league. He's just a lot smaller. It's weird. Like, and that was in some ways his strength. He's like an athletic freak with his overly strong arms, but he had regular arms last night. Did you notice that? That was weird to me, man. Blackhawks here. Good to see Neil. Let them celebrate. They do not have much to show for it. No championships. They are a ghost. We are deep and getting deeper. Well, Portland does have one championship, and they got that with Bill Walton way back in the 70s. It was way back in the 70s. So they do have one championship way back there. You can see it on the back of their jersey. They got the little one in the little spot where we got our one. So let me see. Where am I in the chat? I got to find I lost my spot. I remember where I was. Okay, yeah, that was Blackhawk. Kaz is saying, we're all idiots. We're all idiots. Kareem's saying, Shed really gives off glimpses of Kyle Lowry. It's actually poetic to see. If Garrett Temple is no longer with us, I would love to see Kyle fill that role on a 2-year. I know we talked about this weekend, that if Temple's not back and Lowry is out of Philly and he wants to come back to Toronto next year and be our 3rd veteran point guard, he has to be behind Quickly and Shed, though. I do not want Kyle's taking time away from Shed, but if he wants to come here and teach Shed, download his computer into him as far as a lot of the stuff he sees and knows, he's been doing it for Maxey the last 2 years. I would love for him to come up and teach Shed and give Shed some of his knowledge like he did to Fred. That would be fantastic. I would not hate Kyle Lowry circling back and coming back here next year, but I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it's actually realistic. We'll have to see. Kareem saying, and I voted yes, fans should run teams as long as Masai and Bobby run the Raptors. Okay, so here's a distinction. Kareem saying that fans should run all NBA teams except for the Raptors, who should just be run by Bobby and Masai. I think I like this. I think I like that. So you're the one person who voted yes on the poll? Man, I mean, seriously, what if they did do this? Like, what if sports teams were run by their fans by polls and they just put polls out all the time and they said, should we trade Vlad Guerrero for this to this? I'm hearing this stuff about Vlad Guerrero. Sorry to bring this up, Reggie, that he turned down $500 million from the Blue Jays and that he just wants to leave. I hate hearing that this guy's not exactly all for us. And that in some ways he just wanted to get out anyway. I hate that. I hate hearing that because that's what I'm hearing now and stuff like that. 500 million with the Blue Jays wasn't enough. Vlad Guerrero Jr. What the fuck, man? Seriously, what the fuck? Let's keep going. Tristan saying Jakob 3 and driving slam was nuts. That 3 was crazy though. I know. And in some ways it's like, all right, there were two parts to it that were so shocking. The fact that he took it in the first place. So I'm like, what the fuck is Jakob doing to start the game? It's like, what is this? And then, like, we thought he didn't make it. And the shocking part was he did make it. It's like two shocks. It was two shock waves. Or Jakob's taking a 3. Okay, what the fuck? And then boom, it's like he didn't make it. Wait, he did make it. What the fuck? It's so weird, man. Stargate saying, I remember all the same individuals who wanted Scoot Henderson on this team are the same ones who want to tank for Flag and Ace. Ooh, okay. So he's taking notes, and Stargate's noticing that some of the same people that were all about Scoot and Scotty a couple of years ago are the same ones that are saying they really want Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey right now. Interesting. Once again, it's that fool's gold in the draft that people get all crazy for in different ways. I don't value that. I much rather value a guy like Matisse Thybulle, who's been in the league and is a defensive stopper and proven, than some kid who's just coming in who's not proven nothing. You come into this league, I don't care if your name's Wembanyama. You need to come in and prove yourself and be something first. Because even Victor was not coming in smoothly and doing everything right away in his rookie year. No, he hasn't. So why would I think that anybody comes in will be like that? If a guy who's 7'5" can't do that. Seriously. I mean, the logic in some ways that people overvalue draft picks is crazy to me. Some of these guys are going to hit and they're going to be great down the years, but let Bobby and Masai decide who those guys are. Scotty Barnes over Jalen Suggs. Hello. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Trevor's saying Scotty 6 steals career high. That's right. It was cool. I like Scotty doing that. And Tristan saying exactly Stargate. So you're seeing the same individuals, the same people. You remember the Scoot. We got to get Scoot. Well, look at Scoot. We saw him last night. Were you right about Scoot? No, you weren't. And that's why we don't listen to y'all. That's why we don't listen to y'all that wanted Scoot just because you wanted to put Scoot with Scott. And it sounded cute, like a Dr. Seuss book. Y'all wanted a Dr. Seuss book? I want Scotty with Scooty. Scooty with Scotty. What are you, fucking 3? Get in your crib. Sorry. All right. It was a little crazy there. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. I like that at Kareem Thomas. Let the fans run their teams, but we leave it to the capable hands of Bobby Masai, Operation Sabotage. That's what I say. We all start out as the fans decide everything for all NBA teams, but our fans take a poll and they say, we want Bobby and Masai to run our team. And we just put that as our poll, and that's it. We're done with our polls. Meanwhile, New York fans are doing all kinds of crazy polls, and Lakers fans are doing all kinds of crazy polls, and their dumpsters are becoming big, huge, blazing infernos of fire. Let the fans run the teams and see it, just the chaos and the disarray in the NBA. And some of them will vote for trades that just aren't legally possible. They'll be like, yeah, we're going to trade Cat for LeBron James and Luka for the Lakers. Knicks fans vote for it. And they try and do it. In reality, they get denied. And Adam Silver's like, sorry, Knicks fans, y'all are crazy. You can't do that. And that trade won't go through. That might be part of the fun there, too. That would be pretty funny to see that kind of shit happen. Nako's saying basketball fans should run the team terminally online. Twitter users should not. Okay. I don't think fans should be running teams. Seriously. They act like they should. They talk like they should, but they don't need to be doing it. That's what I got to say on that. That's right. And Fiercely saying ethical equals obvious. Well, all right. The ethical part is this. I'll discuss what ethical tanking is to me. Ethical tanking to me is a team going out there with earnest intention to fully compete for most of the game. It's to go out there and play at your highest level and defense and commitment to playing together and passing the ball around and playing at a high level. But at a certain point, You short staff yourself out on the court and you are overmatched by the other team talent wise, and they come back and beat you. So for majority of the game, 3 quarters, maybe 3.5 quarters, you are playing your highest level with all your players. You're getting after it on defense. You're playing, you're practicing, you're doing things exactly how you're going to do it at the highest level when you win. But at the end, you short staff yourself and you catch a L at the end of it after all. That's the ethicalness of it, because in some ways you're not practicing the bad habits like the Sixers the other day or the Jazz, and you're playing at a very high level for most of the game, but then you roll over at the end of the game and the other team comes up and takes the lead at the end. That's the ethicalness of it. In some ways that doesn't sound ethical, but to me it's ethical because you're trying in earnest for the majority of the game. And that's the whole thing about last night that's okay about it. We played at a very high level and played very well for most of the game. It's just that at the end of the game, we said, here you go, Blazers. Anthony Simons, you want to take this game? Go ahead and get it for the hometown crowd and let them cheer and be happy. Now, all the people that came to the game from across the border, and even the Raptors fans that live in Oregon, because that's one thing. Listen, some of those are people coming from BC that go to the Portland game to see the Raptors and the Raptors jerseys. But let's not get it twisted. There's a lot of Raptors fans that live stateside also in Portland and Washington that will travel to the Portland game also to see them that are Americans. So there are Canadians, though, that come down. Carlos here. Good to see Carlo JS. Morning, Lex and fellow freaks. I've noticed lately the Raptors have been playing 2 big lineups. Is this a signal we're trying out things because we're going to draft a big? I love that. I love everything about what you're saying in this comment, because I think that may be right, that this is kind of a signal. Darko's doing a lot more with double center lineups, and it may be partly the personnel. It may be partly the teams we've been playing recently. Some of the teams are better for matching up with bigs like this. Like Portland's a pretty tall team, and we can get away with it. Now, a speedier team, like a smaller team like the Celtics, it may be tougher to play a double center lineup because they're playing Al Horford at center, and there's no second big. And if you have that second big out there with Castleton and Orob or Jakob, you may get a mismatch where you're getting beat by speed. But with some of the bigger teams that have more lumbering kind of players, we can get away with the double center lineup that we've been playing recently against the Jazz and the Blazers. And I like it. I think you're right. I think that if we get Common Malak for a draft pick, that this may very well be something that's happening, where we have like a Pirtle Malak matchup, like where they're both out there doing double center stuff. The great thing about the double center lineup is our rebounding has been so good with it. Like, when you have Orob and Castleton on either side of the basket going up and going after offensive rebounds, you're going to get a lot of offensive rebounds. And it's been very successful. And a lot of what's happened too with that matchup with the 2 centers has not hurt us. That's the thing. You can't do that if it starts to hurt you. And if you're playing a high-level team in the league, like a Cleveland or something like that, and it's hurting us, although we could probably get away with it against Cleveland just because they play at Twin Towers with Allen and Mobley. But some of the other teams that are top level that don't have 2 centers and 2 bigs, they could be mismatch problems with the 2 centers being too slow. But I like the trend, and I hope you're right, that this is signaling something for next year that we'll see more broadly happening on our team with a Twin Towers lineup. I don't hate it. I like being big, and I like having size, and I like getting rebounds. I really, really do. Stargate saying 90% of these stank commanders only watch highlights on YouTube and fall for the sports media, Jedi mind tricks, and think that there's ample knowledge to evaluate these teams in the draft. Yeah, I'm not about people that just watch highlights and decide all their opinions from just the highlights. You really do have to watch entire games and get the feel for the flow and the energy and the way that they're playing. They're not going to show you all the important stuff on the highlights for 9 minutes of highlights of NBA games. And NBA fans that just watch highlights and never watch games, you are not really understanding the NBA. I'm going to say that. I agree with Stargate on this. I really do. Kaz is saying, I really want to see Ingram play at least a few games before the season is over so we can get a feel for what he looks like in our system. I really like that Brandon was sitting close to the coaches last night on the bench. In some ways, he's a Western Conference player most of his career. So these teams we're playing against on this West Coast road trip, in some ways, he may have brain knowledge to help the team because he's played the Blazers more often, being on the Pelicans and the Lakers in his career already. So, in some ways, I liked seeing his position on the bench. Like, he was very close to the coaches last night. And I feel like you guys, you may be shocked just how much Brandon Ingram is communicating with everybody on our team and being very helpful in certain ways. The guy's having a fantastic time being a Raptor. You can tell. But yeah, it was nice to see that. And I would love to see Brandon come back before the end of the season, but I don't know if that's likely. I don't know if it's likely. We may have to wait until preseason to see Brandon Ingram suit up for the Raptors in a way where we get to see him like this. Stargate saying flag equals Danny Ferry or Keith Van Horn. See, that's what I'm saying. He's been saying this consistently for a couple months now. That Cooper Flag could be just like the latest Keith Van Horn. And if people don't know who Keith Van Horn is, well, he was a very, very good college player that came in the NBA, and he had some good years in Brooklyn and Philadelphia, but he flamed out, and he wasn't a long-time NBA player and didn't stick around. Danny Ferry was the son of Bob Ferry and came into the league with his dad already kind of as a bigwig, as a GM in the league. And well, he actually, I think he got helped his son get drafted out of Duke. And Danny Ferry was a serviceable NBA player. He did play a long career, but he wasn't at the level that he was touted coming in from college. And that's why Stargate brings him up, because Danny Ferry was just like Cooper Flag when he was coming from Duke. Everybody said this and this and this about Danny Ferry. And then I think he got drafted by the Clippers, but then he got traded to the Cavs. And then he went to the Cavs, and he was on that team with Mark Price and Terrell Brandon and those guys. And he was okay for a little while, but he got hurt. And then he became like a role player. He became a role player and just kind of a backup power forward in the league for the rest of his career. He did play about 10 years, though. But that's the thing. He was supposed to be this, this, and this. And they talked about him being like such an overpowering star, Danny Ferry. And it didn't pan out. That's why I tell people, don't buy into this shit with some of the draft picks, because the bust will be at the top of the draft. Sam Bowie, Danny Ferry, Michael Olowokandi. Yeah, this shit is out there. Greg Oden. It's not Greg Oden's fault that he got hurt, but he was a bust as a second pick in the draft. That's just how it goes. The NBA is not for sure on anybody, guys. And I'd much rather have somebody who's already been in the league, stayed healthy, and played well for years than some kid who's coming in. I have no idea what's going to happen with them. Cool Cat saying NBA players have way more skills than what we see on the court. Teams decide what skills a player use on the team. That's exactly right. In some ways they are directed on what their bag can be as far as what their tricks can be. And some guys have tricks that you'd be astounded to know that they have, but they're just not utilized because the coach does not want them out there doing it. And there may be certain behaviors that these guys might do in games that get them benched and put in the doghouse because coach forbid them from doing it. This is very true. Stargate saying that Ace Bailey is like Alex Sarr. Now, I don't want to put Alex Sarr as a bust yet, because when I saw them play the Wizards recently in those two games, Alex Sarr has some promise, and he's a little scary. There is some stuff that he could be able to do in the next couple of years. Seriously, there is some stuff he could be able to do. So I'm not willing to say Alexander Sarr is a bust yet, because in some ways he's still developing, and he could get better in the next couple of years and be something. But I could see that. I see what you're trying to do here. You're saying Dylan Harper's like Scoot. Yeah, I don't know if that's true either. In some ways, we're going to have to find out. But once again, I don't overvalue draft picks like everybody else does, like Stargate. Stargate's like me. That's right. Trevor's saying, remember what Darko said, that we have a lot of things he's working on as the season goes on. You'll see it. Exactly. And Jakob Pertl 3 is one of them. Is one of them right there. Fiercely saying, I clearly remember we called it last year. We knew it wouldn't work out for the Suns. 3 ball hoggers focused on offense, no defensive presence. Coach Bud and Vogel couldn't make it work. Yeah, that's 2 years of this. And it's not the coach. It's obvious that you can put whatever coach there, Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, Budenholzer. It doesn't matter. You're getting the same result. And it really is like, I really do feel like Kevin Durant's just a broken player at this point. He's not going to be able to lead a team to anything of substance, because in some ways he's just who he is at this point. And Bradley Beal's washed, man. Bradley Beal is washed. Fiercely saying, I doubt keeping Monty Williams would have helped as well. Yeah. Monty didn't deserve all this. In some ways, Monty's getting paid right now to be at home, and he's actually coaching like a high school team right now, which is probably good because he needs time to himself. He's had a lot of different issues in his life the last few years, and he's had a lot of hecticness. And going through Detroit and they're being so bad last year, That was tough. And before that year, the year in Phoenix with DeAndre Ayton and all that bullshit. Yeah, I feel bad for Monty Williams because I like Monty Williams as a player and a person. He's an old San Antonio Spur. And in some ways, he's a good coach. He's a very good coach. He didn't deserve some of the stuff he's got in the last 2 years. Mischief saying Con Newport looking like the best shooter in the draft and top 10. He looks to be picked at number 7 by the Raptors, 91% free throw shooter, 39% three-point shooter, 6.6 three-point shots per game out of 11.7 shots per game. Mischief, we scouted him last week, and I hated him. I do not want Con Newport on our team. He's not athletic enough to me. He looks like he's grounded to the ground. He's like Grady Dick, except he's not athletic. And I don't think he's going to translate to the NBA. I looked at him in his highlights. Nako asked me to watch him last weekend. And what I saw was a guy who's tethered to the ground, who has no hops. And if he has no hops at his height, he's going to get blocked, and he can't do half the shit he's doing at Duke right now. So I'm officially a thumbs down on Con Newport. I'm not interested in him being on the Raptors. And plus, what do we need him for? We got Grady. Grady is a much better version of that kind of player. Jacoby Walter, way better. And I don't want to get guys competitive and getting minutes in those roles. Because already, in some ways, Walter and Dick are competing for the same things. And they're totally different flavors of ice cream, which is great. But Con Newport would make this whole situation even worse. And honestly, it'd be a waste of time. So when I'm watching Con Newport's highlight reel, I'm watching Malak. I'm not watching him because that's who I want right there. That's right. That's right. He shoots more than half his shots from 3. I don't care. Grady Dick, Jamison Battle, Jacoby Walter. We don't need Con Newport. He just make things even more worse. In some ways, we don't need a wing because we got Brandon Ingram, we got RJ, we got Jacoby. I always say Jacob sometimes. Jacoby and Jakob have the same kind of name in some ways. It's weird. Let's keep going. Kareem saying Karl Anthony Towns thinks he's the best big man 3-point shooter. What a joke. I'm sure Jakob has a better 3-point percentage this year. It's not on volume, that's for sure. That may be true. That might be true. Jimmy's saying that's a little naive, Stargate. Bam, son. Okay. I'm not even sure what comment he's saying is naive there. He's just saying, oh, you're comparing them to those guys. Yeah, we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure, but he may be right too, though, Jimmy. He might be right too. Bam, son. Nako saying, Mischief, we do not need Con. Yeah, he's echoing what I said the other day when we looked at him. I just feel like everything he shoots is from the ground. He doesn't jump. It's really weird. I feel like he's gravity challenged. And in the NBA, that ain't going to work. You can have these great shooters from college. If they don't have any athleticism, and that's what I was worried about with Grady. That Grady had no athleticism, but he's turned out to have it, so he can play in the NBA. But when I scouted Grady, I said the same thing, and I was wrong. So maybe I'm wrong about Con. But from what I saw, the dude is not athletic enough to be that successful in the NBA, is what I saw. Yeah. We don't know if Jimmy or Stargate will be right on this. We'll have to see down the road. Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, we'll see what they're like, and we'll see who's right later. Yeah. Jimmy saying, I didn't see Alex Sarr putting up near 40 points at Perth in a game. Well, once again, I don't really take into account a lot of the college scoring as translating to the NBA. I really don't. And the way I judge guys is by physicality, is their shape, is their size, is their speed, is that kind of stuff. I don't look at their stats. I don't look at who they've been playing because they could play in certain conferences and juice their stats like crazy. Now, I get it. This is Con Newport. He's playing in Duke. It's ACC. That's a pretty big conference. But still, to the same thing, it doesn't translate all the time. It really, really doesn't translate all the time. Now, I'm judging Alex Sarr at this point on him playing against the Raptors last week. And some of the stuff he was doing in the paint is looking very promising as far as what he can do with finishing shots in some ways. Fiercely saying, Scotty's starting to get more foul calls. Could it be the beginning of him finally getting respect? Yeah, he's getting respect in different ways for sure. And hopefully RJ also and Emmanuel too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's an odyssey. And in some ways, like I said, ref report is very important now more than ever because it'll tell you the proclivity of the refs the morning before giving us calls. Now, tonight, Mark Lindsay is a very fair ref. He probably will give Scotty some calls. He probably will. As far as Brent Barnecki, he may not, and Matt Myers may not. But Mark Lindsay is the most fair ref tonight. He should probably give him some calls. Kaz is saying, I hope so, Fiercey. Yeah, I think Sky's getting more respect. I think that the less he complains and the more he works with the refs, the better outcomes he'll have. And he's doing that more and more. Let's see. Carlos saying NBL is completely different than college ball. That's for sure. That's for sure. And that's why I don't translate a lot of that stuff. I don't translate Division 2, Division 1, Europe leagues, all that kind of stuff. In some ways, you don't know anything about how that player's going to do in the NBA until they actually show up. And you could have like a great player like the guy who came from Greece, Sasha, who was playing for the Kings, and he was like a MVP for Greek league over there, and he came over and he was a bust in the NBA right away. So it's like you can't judge anything. You have to see them in the ecosystem and judge them there in those ways. Yeah. Kaz is saying those rookie mistakes are why they are out there, to be honest. So we lose the game. Yeah. Yeah. Castleton blowing the forced turnover, forced foul. Guys not boxing out on certain guys and guys sneaking in and getting offensive rebounds and keeping a possession alive for the Blazers. Because that's what I would say. Raptors, if you really wanted to win that game last night, young Raptors, defense is not over until the defensive rebound is secured. And you can guard these guys so well on their last shot and they miss it. But if they get the rebound, you have not completed your job. And that was what happened at the end of the game last night. There was a possession where if they had gotten the defensive rebound, they would have had a good chance to take a last shot to win the game. But they fumbled the defensive rebound, and it was an offensive rebound for the Blazers, and they got another possession and an ability to eat up more of the very, very short clock that was left. And that's a rookie mistake right there. The defensive possession is not over till you secure the defensive rebound, and they had to get that. They've been so good at rebounding. Why didn't they do it at that last second at the end of the game? Castleton and Robinson. That's what I say. Carlos saying that I doubt Bailey can score that much in the NBL. We'll have to see. Well, we won't see because he's not probably going to play in the NBL. Kareem saying we should draft for need, not best available. We have too many interchangeable players that can do all the same thing. What we don't have enough of is rim running centers, and Malak should be prioritized. Yeah, I like what he's saying here. I know there's very different trains of thought on draft best available or draft for need. And to me, I feel like you can do both. I mean, once again, the Raptors are trying to have their cake and eat it too. I think that we could draft best available, but it'll also be for our need, and that is a 4 or 5. And once again, Raptor Freak endorsed top 3 options for the Raptors with their draft pick in the top 10 this year is Common Malak, number 1. Number 2, Derek Queen. Number 3, Asa Newell. Those are my 3 top players that I would like to see in Raptors jerseys. One of those 3 guys get drafted by Bobby and Masai very soon. That's what I want. Jimmy saying to put boxes around guys that aren't in the league yet is extremely naive. Well, I get what you're saying, and that's him making those comparisons, Stargate. But to me, I don't take anything about the hype from college in any kind of way. Cooper Flag, whatever. To me, he's a G.I. Joe. I don't care who he is. I didn't watch any of his games. He could do all the things in the world. I don't care. I didn't see it because it's not in the NBA. And that's the problem. People see all this stuff in college and they think it just automatically translates to the NBA. And that's not true. Until they come to the big league and they're playing in the big league and I see it for real, then I'll start to believe it. But in some ways, I'm not going to give these guys already the top 3 picks in the draft for this year that they're going to be superstars like some people are saying. I don't believe that. Like I've said recently, if any of these guys are all-stars, first-year all-stars as rookies, I would be shocked. If Cooper Flag is playing the all-star game next year, I will be shocked. If Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey are an all-star, that all-star weekend next, not a rising star, a straight-up all-star, I will be shocked. And in some ways, that is the kind of player that is a monumental changing player, is the ones who come in and their first year, they're an all-star, undoubtedly. And you don't see that very often anymore. In some ways, it's the system of the way things are now. But, when are you going to get another LeBron? Like even Victor wasn't a first-year all-star when he first came in the league. He wasn't good enough to be an all-star. If Victor's not good enough to be an all-star in his first year, I don't know why the hell people are telling me Cooper Flag will be. Seriously. And that's what I'm saying right here. I won't believe anything until they come up and they see the size and the strength and the speed of the NBA level. Because until then, they aren't tested right. They are not tested right. Let's see. Stargate saying that Jimmy, Perth is not the NCAA, Rutgers, and wasn't running Steve Feichel's offensive system. But I'm not about to argue with you today, sir. It's all good. You guys can have a difference of opinion. We'll put a pin in this and we'll see who's right down the road. Jimmy, you're saying that these guys are going to be good, and Stargate's saying these guys might be busts. And I'll just realize that, these guys, you guys are on each side, and we'll take note and we'll come back to this in like a year from now. How about that? Or a couple of years from now. But we'll remember, I'm more on the side with Stargate in some ways, just because I really do feel like the draft players are overhyped at this point. And it's a byproduct of the ESPN bullshit that is just constantly coming at us as their content over and over again. That you just hear this shit, and then you got people parroting it on social media over and over again, and then Cooper Flagg's become bigger than he actually is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right there. Tristan saying, Castleton already one of our best rebounders for sure. For sure. He's got the length and stuff. I just want him to be stronger. I like how O-Rob is taking the physicality and taking it to them and finishing and really, really being a physical player. I want Castleton to be more like that too. But in some ways, he's along the lines of Bargnani. In some ways, with his he's more of a finesse player. He does have to get in there and get physical, though, because of his position. And you know what the best thing for Colin would be? This summer, hitting those weights and coming back next year bigger and stronger. You could see some promise in that. The 24-year-old getting the weights this summer and maybe coming back with bigger muscles, and he could be something even better next year. I could see that. Kaz saying, I agree with Kareem Thomas. We need a big. I don't care who the best player left is, Common or Queen. Those are the two guys I like the best. You got a 7'2" guy from Duke, and you got a 6'10" guy. And both those guys are the right height, and in some ways the right mobility and the right kind of skills. And that's just what I'm saying right there. And, if we're around 6 or 7 in the draft, those guys should be available. That's what we're saying. Mischief saying, looks like the Raptors bench players are all going into their prime by next year, both Castle and Robinson at 24. Each same with RJ and AJ, Scotty, Battle, Oshai. The list goes on. The future looking bright. There you go. There's my cue. The future's looking bright. Raptors got to wear shades, Timbuk3. I got a weird teacher. His name is Darko. Future's going bright, and it's only getting better. I'm doing all right. We're getting good grades. The future's so bright. We got to wear shades. That's right. Future's so bright. Reggie saying, the thing is, Toronto wanted to keep him. Delano Banton, he requested to be released from his contract. Is that true? Interesting. Well, Delano, you get what you get. That's what I got to say on that then. You get what you get. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. Morning, Raptor Freaks. I was advocating for Orlando, but his inability to not just make that shot, I'm not expecting that, but to not know how to allow himself to get fouled is bad. You're talking about the force, the guys, they didn't go and commit the foul at the right time at the end of the game. I think that's just a miscommunication. In some ways, it's inexperience. Also, we got to remember that arena is loud. And Portland fans were really, at the end of the game, really agitated and wanting to help their team win. So, I mean, there's an experience there. Yeah, they should have fouled sooner with the clock, would let more time on there so that they'd have more time to get the shot back the other way. And it was really bad that Jamison got the foul and fouled out. That was a big problem. That showed Jamison Battles got more experience in some ways than Castleton. And, Rob, I mean, I'm going to give him a pass. In some ways, these guys are a work in progress. And there's so much that he's progressing on that even if he's not totally right on some things, Orlando Robinson, I'm really happy with him. So he's saying Darko had plans for him. He didn't want to be here. For Delano, this is the thing. Delano was long gone before Darko came. That's the thing. Delano had been gone for like 2 or 3 years now. So he was gone the year before. He left the last year of Nick. So there was nothing I don't think he had anything to do with him. Seriously, I think Delano left the last year before Nick. Like Nick was still our coach when Delano left. I don't think Darko was ever in the picture with Delano Banton at all, from what I remember with the timing. Because Delano's been gone for 3 years, basically. I think Delano was only on our team for like 2 years, guys. And then the 2 years since, he's been on other teams. And that's what I remember the timeline. Nako saying, thing about drafting for fit is there's players that I don't think would be Raptors. Most recently, Jacoby drafting on fit doesn't seem to be Bobby's philosophy. Well, this is the thing with Jacoby Walter. That is a top 10 talent that fell to 19 that the Raptors just had to absolutely take. And they were exactly right with that. That's a different kind of thing. And it has to do with your draft position. The fact that the Raptors were at 19th, which was a horrible place to be, they had lost a tiebreaker and ended up in that spot. Well, in that position of the draft, late in the top 20, you're kind of drafting who might have fallen through the cracks that is kind of a long shot. In some ways, this is similar to when we drafted OG. OG was around the same position in the draft. And it was because he was hurt in his last year in Indiana. A lot of teams stayed away from Anunoby when drafting him. Well, he turned out to be a great risk and a gamble. And Walter's a similar kind of pick to Anunoby. He fell through the cracks inexplicably, and he was available at 19. They had to take the best available at that time. That's what Jacoby was. He wasn't a draft for need. He was a draft for best available at that time. And they were laughing because they had seen him as a top 10 player, and they got him at 19. They got him at 19. So that's a different kind of pick. In some ways, because you're higher in the draft, you have more choice over the possible players that are around that spot at 6, 7, or 8. You can get both. You can do draft for need and best available. I know that doesn't sound right. Maybe there is a player that may be slightly better available at a different position, but it may not be that much of a difference. And the need is actually supersedes that just a little bit of a difference. Let's see. Slug Deezy saying scout Bangkok Doc as a potential second round pick. All right, I'll do this for Slug. Slug's been killing it on the classic cards lately. So we're going to do a nice special St. Patrick's Day scout for Mr. Slug Deezy real quick. Got Doc. All right, this guy is on Colorado. Let's see. He's a forward. He doesn't have a Wikipedia. That's always a little bit of an interesting thing when the player doesn't have a Wikipedia. He's got an ESPN profile. He was born in Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay, he's 6'11". He's 185 pounds. He's been averaging 8 points a game, and he shoots 50% from the field. He averages about 4 rebounds a game. Those aren't very impressive stats, but let's go look at him on the YouTube real quick. Bangkok. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Bangkok Dak. Very, very weird, man. Wait, that's not spelling his name right. Bangot, not with the T. With the T. All right, let me see. Where is this guy? We need a highlight. He's a shot blocker, it says here. Interesting. He had a block party against Cincinnati. Is there actually just a highlight reel of him? Because it doesn't look like this guy is like so undercover, man. There's like no just personal highlights for him, man. Who is this guy? This is like a deep cover guy. All right, we'll watch the block party versus Cincinnati one, even though it's probably not all the other stuff. Like it should be let's see, where's the big man? Okay. He gets the ball and he puts it back in. All right, that's not a bad offensive rebound. He looks really slight of build. Like he doesn't have very much muscle. In some ways, he reminds me a lot of Mohamedou Gay, like very similar body type. Um, okay, there was a couple blocks there, not just by him. Him and his teammate were blocking. That's pretty good timing. Pretty good timing. It looks like he's very one-dimensional though. Like I'd be worried about this guy as far as like actually being a good rebounder because he looks like he can just get shoved to the side. In some ways, he very much has the same build as Boucher and Mohamedou. Man, yeah, he's a pretty good timing with his blocks. He's a good shot blocker. But unfortunately, this highlight reel is only just blocks for the most part. I can't really see any of his offense on here. So he's got good timing as a shot. Oh, there's a three-pointer all of a sudden. Okay, he shot a three. Interesting. He didn't have bad form. But he's not a better three-point shooter than Chris Boucher. Oh, there's a nice lob. He really ran through that one down. That's interesting. It's interesting. He's got a really nice wingspan, that's for sure. And he's got some good mobility and a good motor and good timing on block shots. So interesting. Yeah, some of this stuff is too easy. Like that last play I just saw is a putback off a missed free throw. That's just really bad boxing out. That's not like a skill that he had there. Okay, I mean, he seems one-dimensional to me. Like he may be a very good shot blocker, and I don't know if he's going to be a good offensive player or rebounder. But Slug Deezy, thank you for bringing him here. Second round pick, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather just keep Chris. He seems like he's a similar player to Chris in some ways. Wayne saying our loss I actually like based on who finished the game. Not blaming nobody, but some players lack guile. Well, in some ways, that's that. Once again, we've been playing teams that have been kind of slumming like us and tanking, like Philly and Utah. And we played a team that actually was still playing for something last night, and their excellence of their talent was still out there at the end of the game, and it outshined our end of our bench. And I mean, Simons, I expect Simons to take over a game and win a game with that situation with that personnel that we had on the court. That it should be like that. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, Wayne, the crowd really helped the Blazers get energy to come back also, and they wanted them to win for sure. Fiercey saying, you're right, Reggie. He requested out. Probably thought the grass would be greener elsewhere. It's a part of life decisions. Yeah, it could be that things were getting more muddled in the point guard situation with the Raptors. I mean, Freddie was still around then at that time. And Scotty showing up, in some ways he's in competition for with Scott for some of the point guard stuff. I don't know. Whatever happened with Delano, it happened. And it's just what it is, whether he has to be out or the Raptors kind of gave up on him also. I don't know which one is exactly right. You guys might be right, though. Let's see. Stargate saying Delano had some off the court personal issues here that needed to get away from. He really needed to get out of the city. I don't think he really wanted to leave the team per se. See, that's the feeling I was getting. Even since he does the in your city like brand clothing with his friends. And there was a live stream that I saw on Twitch with him one day with his friends, and they were like eating garbage food. They were eating like McDonald's and like trying to sell clothing through their Twitch. And I don't know, maybe there was some sort of local element that Delano did need to be around to help his career. That could very well be part of it. And he recognized it, and that was part of the reason why he asked out. That could be right. Reggie's saying at Fiercey, probably the pressures of playing at home. Who knows? I think it's just that he knew too many people. He had too many friends, too many hangers on. And there's certain friends that he's so loyal to that he couldn't say, no, I can't hang out with you. But maybe some of them weren't exactly good people for him to be around. I think that that's part of it. Fiercey saying a valid point. Cool Cat saying most NBA players do not play in their hometown. It's too distracting as a professional. Yeah, RJ, when he showed back up in town, he made it very clear that he understands how to deal with this. And he also said very explicitly that him playing in New York for the first couple of years in his career, it was way better than him getting drafted to Toronto and just playing for us right off the bat, because he had professional lessons he needed to go through in the Big Apple with the Knicks. And it's much better that he did it there than he did it here. That may be where the problem was with Delano, that he was in that stage of his career, in his early career, and some of that stuff needed to be sorted out, and it was harder to do. Now, RJ's been very open about how he handles playing for his hometown, and he doesn't do anything. Like he treats it like he lives in another city. He stays home. He doesn't hang out with his friends. He basically just works out at OVO and works out like crazy. And he's not acting like he's in his hometown. He's made this very clear in interviews. He's treating it like he's playing in another city, even though he is playing in his city. So he understands all these pitfalls himself, and RJ Barrett has safeguarded himself from them. He has. So Blackhawk is saying, Rob will practice harder because end of game situations like that haunts players in their sleep. He will want to redeem himself in a moment, which means more aggressive Rob. I agree with this. That's exactly what these players do. They go over every little bit where they could have done something differently, and they replay it in their heads. And when they get presented with that opportunity again, well, they make sure they don't make the same mistakes. And definitely, there were some lessons learned at the end of the game last night for Orlando Robinson and Colin Castleton, for sure. And even AJ Lawson to a degree, too. Kareem saying, Lex, we go into the playoffs this year, and Brandon Ingram will be our joker card. We won't make a deep run, but we can definitely fuck up a top 5 seeds plan. I don't know. I don't want to do this back and forth. In some ways, I don't feel like us winning so many games to try and get into the play-in is worth it. I really am kind of like, let's just stay here and just kind of go with the flow. Now, if we rise up and we, in some ways, it doesn't really matter if we have a couple more wins as long as we stay in the same position in the standings, as far as like the 7th or 6th worst team. That's probably more important than trying to get in the play-in. I think the play-in for what statement is right at this point. So I can't get on this. I can't get on this. I can't get on this. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm team tank. I'm team long-term is what I am right now. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying at Fiercey, that's why having RJ means so much. He played in New York, no bigger stage than that, knows all about the pressure. Yeah. And him playing in New York before Toronto is the right order. And that may have been what Delano needed. Maybe Delano should have been drafted to the Trailblazers, and then he came to us in his 4th year or something like that, similar to RJ. Monique is saying, fuck tanking, fuck tanking, fuck tanking. I think she's made her position very clear, and we're going to give her a dunk for it. Even though she didn't like what happened last night, well, if that's what Bobby Masai want to do, we got to trust them, Monique. That's what we got to say right now. I know you hate tanking. I do too, normally. I'm just in this weird space right now where tanking is okay because it will suit our needs in the long run. And I can see that. So I'm okay with it right now. But most of the time, I am not okay with tanking mentality. You know this. I'm a very strong advocate against tanking. I am. But right now, I'm not going to fight the team because the team's deciding to do this. This is not the same as the fans. The fans talk about tanking and wishing for tanking. That's different. I'm against them, just like you. But with the team is doing what they're doing, I have to support my team. And that's what they want to do. So that's the difference right here. I'm trying to give the difference to you and Fiercey today and understand why I'm acting the way I am. I know y'all were mad after the game last night, losing at the end. But to me, this is what Masai Ujiri wants. And I can't go against Masai. He knows what he's doing, is what I'm saying. Fiercey saying, absolutely. RJ's journey was conducive to him handling pressure. Knicks Nation and media are apparently ruthless. There you go. There you go. And Fiercey's doubling down on Monique's fuck tanking also. She got a dunk for it, y'all. She got a dunk. Monique, you're at, we'll give you another one. 42. You're at 42 dunks now, Monique. 42 points on the dunk chart. Yeah. I mean, I respect what y'all's standpoint, but I also have to, I got to trust Masai, guys. I got to trust Masai. Smith saying, isn't Thibault from Switzerland? No, I think he's French. He's straight up French. I'm pretty sure. He played on Team France. I mean, he played in the Olympics last year with Wemby and them, right? Kareem's saying, I triple down. I triple down if that's a thing, or my house, whatever. What? Triple down? Okay, you guys are tripling down on the anti-tank? You guys are awesome. You guys have my heart. There you go. Stargate agrees too. All right, we're all officially anti-tank, even though we're losing on purpose. Black Ops saying, speaking of Yabusele, does he get another NBA contract despite the Sixers' poor season? I haven't paid total close attention to him. I think he's been serviceable. I don't know. I have no idea. If he wants to stay in the NBA and somebody wants him, I could see that. But I don't know. I think the way he got bounced out of the league before was kind of unfair. And well, maybe he'll stick this time. We'll see. We'll have to see. I can't say for sure on this. All right, let's see. Where am I in the chat? Lots of great active chat today. I really like it. Really, really like it. All the comments and stuff like that. Let's see. Okay, here I am right here. Let's see. Monique saying Lex called this loss. It bugged me. Yeah, all right. It's only because, listen, I'll say this, Monique. I could see the home crowd, the energy in the arena. I could see that the Blazers were trying to win still. And I knew that we were going to bench our guys at the end of the game. And I knew that if the game's close and Shed's not out there to help them try and win, they're going to fold and they're going to lose the game. It's just from years of experience of watching the NBA very closely and understanding parameters for conducive for winning and losing. I know that you said I jinxed them, but it really was that this was the plan all along. That the Raptors wanted to lose this game. And they wanted to lose games that they won recently too. It's just the rookies were so damn good, they won the game anyway. Seriously. Like those Orlando games and some of these games recently with Washington, they were games that in some ways we were trying to lose on the down low, Monique, but our guys were so good we won anyway. So last night, there was a team that really did want to win more than the teams we've been playing recently, and they were at home, and they had a raucous crowd, and the recipe was just there. It's just the expert in me that can see that, and especially when I saw that Jamal Shed wasn't going to be closing the game, well, the Raptors were trying to lose on purpose, and that's why I called it. It's not that I wanted them to. It's not that I like the Raptors losing. It's just my expert opinion being fair, looking at this situation and saying this is probably what's going to happen. And well, the team that was out there didn't have Jacoby Walter. It didn't have Jamal Shed. And those guys are the capable guys from the rookies that are carrying us in those situations, winning us games that we were trying to tank already. So that's part of it right there. I really like that Ochai Agbaji was thrust into a leadership position in the last couple minutes of the game That was good development growth for him because he was the go-to guy, leader, best player on the court in the last 2 minutes of the game. And he had to be the guy in organizing and kind of do a little bit of things out of his wheelhouse normally when he's out on the court with people like RJ, Scotty, Emmanuel, and Grady and people like that. He's not usually this guy. And he got some development time last night as the go-to main guy in the last unit that played for the Raptors against the Blazers. And well, that was good development time for Ochai Abaji's leadership skills. How about that? How about that? Yeah. Tristan saying, so good to see him playing hard, though. That's what I'm saying. They played right. They played the game correctly. It's just they folded at the end of the game. And in some ways, that was the design. That was the plan. Randolph Phillips is saying, game day blessings, beloved Raptor freaks, most informative gang. Today, you are favored to do good and great things. Make and leave your mark by showing your value. I love that. Thank you for the words of wisdom and blessings to the Phillips family, Randolph, all the Raptor freak families right there. Yeah, go out and do good. I would say this. If you don't like the way the world's going right now, well, be the example of the world you want and put that energy out in the world. This is how we change the world for the better. There's evil people trying to do evil things. Well, let's do the things that we think are the right ways in the energy in the world, and we put more out of it out there, and that is what comes back to us and we see in the world. So yeah, even if people are doing things evil and wrong and unlawfully and just awful, do what you want to see in your world and your arena around you and do good, and that will be permeating and putting out more of that in your place. That's it. There you go. But we move on. That's right. We got to play today. Phoenix Suns right away, 10 p.m. We get a doubleheader tonight, Mo. We're in basketball heaven. We get 2 games tonight, 7:30, Windy City Bulls, Raptors 9:05, and then 10 o'clock, Phoenix Suns, Toronto Raptors. So we got a doubleheader tonight. And I'll do the rundown on all that stuff at the end of the show once again. Mike is here. Good to see Logical Raptors fanatic tapping in. Project Truth always, Mike. Not going to lie, we are a team that needs to grow players. Players grow from new spots and roles, but there will be mistakes at times that will cost games. Nick Nurse wanted to win every game, and the growth slowed. This is a fantastic point by Mike. You know, we suffered to grow our young players in development under Nick Nurse because of his stranglehold on competitiveness and wanting to win and overplay his starters. And Darko is obviously showing he's ready to throw these young guys into the deep end and try and win games like this. This is fantastic. Great comment by Mike once again, as usual. And I appreciate it. Logical Raptors fanatic, always good to see you, man. Neil saying Vlad didn't turn down 500 million. 500 million is his asking price, which tells me he's trying to force his way out through high bidding. Front office is saying hell no to Vlad. Okay, so I misheard it. I thought I'd heard that Vlad had been offered 500 million and he turned it down to go get somebody else. But he's asked for 500 million. The Blue Jays said no. Either way, I don't know enough about this. I'm hearing hearsay through social media, but I heard the number 500 million and I was like, that they offered him 500 million and he turned it down. Oh no, that's what he's starting with, and they don't want to pay him that. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Smooth saying the value of the contract the Blue Jays offered Vladdy would have made him the third highest paid player in the MLB, behind only Juan Soto and Ohtani. Wow. Well, that's too bad, man. That's too bad. I think he did just want to leave Toronto. And you know what? In some ways, that sucks because, you want him to be a lifer and be a franchise player for a long time. But in some ways, this also shows if your front office isn't proactive in getting things done and showing progress, these big stars will want to leave. And that's why it's very important that the Raptors continue to be showing progress so that people like Scotty want to stay here. You know what I'm saying? That's very, very important. Yeah. And Tristan's agreeing with Logical Raptors fanatic. Smooth saying the contract included deferrals. Even still, it would have made him the third highest in the MLB, and he still didn't want it. That's crazy, man. Tristan saying our floor is rising right now. It's totally true. Exactly. And use your more agile one to move out if needed. Yep. Reggie saying, I'll say this again. Vlad, 6 years in, 2 of those seasons have been all world top 10 player wise. The other 4, very good. I'm beginning to think he really wants out. Yeah, that's all the things I'm hearing now. It's not about loyalty to Toronto. It's about dollar signs and a new scenery is what it is. Most saying, reminder to all, Chris is professional. He's still talking on the bench. Does he need to be respected? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different noise about Chris Boucher right now. There's people that are for Chris Boucher playing, like myself. And, some people that understand Darko's doing what he's going to do because he's doing it. And the coach has the right to do what he's going to do. Or it's not necessarily Darko, though. I'm going to say it's Bobby and Masai that are making the decisions with Chris. And it's not the coach necessarily.
Either way, it's sad because it does kind of portend that Chris Boucher will not be on our team next year. But once again, this is the same situation exactly as last year. Chris Boucher got DMPs like crazy near the end of the season, and everybody said, "Well, this is just showing that he's not going to be here next year." Well, he was here last year, this past year, and he even survived the trade deadline. So I'm not going to guess anything about Chris on what's going on with him until things happen, and then we react to him afterwards. Because everybody can say, "Oh, Chris is going to be gone. Chris is going to be gone," but he may very well be back next year, and there's nothing happening like that. So yeah, I think that free Chris Boucher people are admirable in some ways right now, more this year than last year, because in some ways last year it was really annoying that he wasn't getting to play, but we were really bad, and in some ways I understood that. I don't know. In some ways, it's like it's a mystery. Chris Boucher is such a mystery right now, and it's annoying me in some ways. It really is. Neil's saying none of the draftees are it. It takes 3 to 4 years to develop them. You have to have the right system for them to blossom on your timeline. Yeah. None of them are instant, like bona fide players that are going to come in and make an impact like Magic Johnson did in the early 80s. None of them. Nobody's Larry Bird. Cooper Flagg is not Larry Bird. I'm sorry. He's not going to turn any team into a contender suddenly. I do not see this. I really do not. Tristan saying, that reminds me, Mo, I gained respect for Temple when he was able to keep up cardiovascular wise after not playing majority of the season, staying ready like a true professional. Yeah, Garrett's really good like that. And man, he's been fantastic. We'll just have to see. Once again, he's like Chris. We'll have to see what happens with him in the offseason, too. Neil's saying one should ask themselves where a new high draft pick would fit on our team with Scotty's timeline. Maybe we keep the pick or trade the pick for a vet that fits with Scotty. Once again, I don't believe in the timeline kind of talk. You can always have stuff that's coming up that's a little bit behind that's actually very helpful in some ways. So, like, timeline arguments always bug me, whether they're saying Jakob is too old to be on the timeline with Scott or somebody's too young to be on the timeline. I don't believe in any of that. Timeline is just a bullshit thing. But I will say fit matters. What you're saying about fit, where would a certain player type fit with our team? Like, once again, we have way too many wings. Not too many. We have just the right amount. And we add another wing, it's not going to fit. So we need either a point guard or a big. And I think the big is the one we need more than the point guard because we have two very good point guards, and a third point guard's easy to find, whether it's Kyle Lowry in the offseason, than a draft pick. And then also, you just need to solidify the front line and get another center or power forward is what I'm saying. Let's see. Mike's saying Blackhawk facts. And when you get a 1A, you got to rebuild your team to fit around that guy so you have a team that is the right price. Laugh out loud. People think it's 2K out there, and you got to build around these guys. And that's what we did. We shifted from Scotty, and we built around Scott now, and it looks like all the pieces fit real well with him. And he likes the team. That's the other thing. Scotty, if he was unhappy, he would be showing signs of it. He is on cloud nine. He's enjoying himself. He's having a really good time. He's making cool Subway commercials, which I want to be in one of those commercials. Like, all right, Kayla Gray is the referee, and Scotty Barnes is the new Subway commercial with two Subway sandwich artists that are trying to toast buns and make the sub in a time limit. I want to go in that competition. I'm a professional sub maker. I went so big on the sub making that I went professional at Air Canada Center for the Toronto Raptors in 1999. That's right. I started in the doldrums of the Subway down in Florida and made some sandwich artists there. And then I got called up to Mr. Sub professionally at the Air Canada Center and made subs at Leaf and Raptor games for 5 years from 1999 to 2004. So, Scotty, put me on the Subway Challenge. I want to make a sub against somebody else, some jabroni from a Subway in Toronto, and I want to kick their ass. And I want you to raise my hand as the champion of sub making. I'm officially challenging anybody. I'll beat you at a Subway sandwich artist making contest. And I want Scotty Barnes to adjudicate me as the winner. I want to be in that commercial, Scotty. I want to be in a Subway commercial because I do have a Subway shirt and I am a talented sandwich artist. The other thing about me is I have speed because, listen, when I used to have to make subs at hockey games for the Leafs in around 2000, you have only during the period because nobody's coming out there during the game. They're all sitting in there. So in that little period of time between the periods of a hockey game, Lex was in his element and he was working. Ooh, I have those fast hands. And I hear what they're saying. And I'm putting it all on there real quick and coming right through. real fast. You have to make subs for 50 people in 15 minutes or like 100 people in 15 minutes. You get fast. I'm telling you right now. So yeah, I want to take that. You next time you see that commercial, Lex should be in that competition. I want to be in there wearing the green hat and the Subway shirt and showing Scotty what I can do with my skills. This is all legit. I'm being serious. I'm not full of shit. I will take on anybody in a Subway sandwich artist competition. I will kick your ass time wise and with making that sandwich perfect too, because I got those skills. I do. I used to have to make subs for drunk people in Florida State in the middle of the night. I'd be working the graveyard shift and all the bars would get out and it'd be 4 a.m. and I'm making a sandwich for some drunk guy hanging out in his car. He's drunk driving. And the cops would sit behind the Subway and watch them come around. And one time this guy came through the drive-thru and he pulled around so fast and so quick, drunk, he ran right into the Subway drive-thru window right in front of the cops. Arrested right there, right in front of me before I gave him his sandwich. Yeah, those were the days working at Subway, graveyard shift, Florida State campus in Tallahassee. One night, Sebastian Janikowski came into the store in the middle of the night. Sebastian Janikowski, the longtime kicker for the Oakland Raiders. He played for FSU. The Polish powder keg. Yeah, the guy who used to kick the ball like 70 yards in FSU games. Yeah, he came in drunk one night, and my friend Brian and I were working, and Sebastian was being a little cheeky, being a little bit of an asshole, talking some shit. And my friend Brian had to remind him that we were the ones with the knives. It was so stupid. It was so stupid and funny. I'll never forget the night that we made sandwiches for drunk Sebastian Janikowski, and he was being an idiot. Yeah, I have a lot of weird Subway stories, man. I'm going to tell you. All right, somebody's laughing at that. That was worth telling. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's see. Blackhawk saying if we keep going after high draft picks and we never complete any build, we just keep resetting because of a desire for a shiny toy. Yeah. We invest in the guys we got, and we have great guys. Man, I love this nucleus, and the culture and the fit is so good right now. Why would you want to mess with that? That's why anybody saying we should trade people for Devin Booker, you're crazy. I don't want to mess with the chemistry. The chemistry is so good right now. And if you make a high-level trade with some very big personalities and big-time players, you could upset the hierarchy with Scotty Barnes being the leader of the team. So I'm not looking anywhere else. Brandon's good. He's in. RJ and Emmanuel, they get along with Scotty, and everything's fitting real nice right now. The culture is obviously off the charts. So why would you want to mess with that? You don't want to mess with that too much. And we got the right amount of talent. We've got a lot. Yeah, Mike saying Blackhawk, exactly. Just like drafting Okafor, then drafting Embiid. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Sixers, we're going to see you fumble your draft pick. Jimmy's saying Kevin Durant said Ace is more talented than him at the mid-range than when he was at his age. Extremely high praise from one of the best scorers ever. Ace trains all the way. I may be wrong. Well, we'll have to see. You're on the Ace train all the way. We'll have to see. And I'm going to remember that, Jimmy. If Ace Bailey's a big time, I'm going to say Jimmy Pope staked and said, yeah, I believe in this guy. And we'll give you all the credit in the world. Stargate saying Raptors have enough wings with high upside. Grady, Jacoby, Jameson, Oshai. Rodin has a two-way for the next 2 years, plus our starters, Brandon and RJ. Yeah. I'm just saying we've got wing depth. We don't need to draft a wing. We just don't need it. Yeah. And Mobo too, right? Most giving my cutoff. Go Raptors for life. Just helping Lex limit comments. I appreciate you, Mo, very, very much for that. Keep at it always. I have to agree with everything. No, I do. Keep at it always. Do I have to agree with everything? No. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever. Yeah. You know what? You are exactly right to not like losing. You do not like the Raptors losing, and that is the right action. It's not that I like what happened last night. I just know that the outcome last night was the best for us in some ways. I don't like the Raptors losing, and I appreciate you being a real one and not liking the Raptors losing. There's nothing wrong with that, Mo, at all. There's nothing at all. Gerald saying at Jimmy, Ace to me is a little one-dimensional, but hot damn, his form is good. There you go. We'll have to see. Stargate saying Raptors need size, 6'10 and up, Common, Queen, or Newell. That's right. That's who I'm looking at. Newell. Ace and Newell, maybe. Jimmy's saying if you get the top 3 pick, you're not taking Malak or Queen. Might as well trade down if that's the case. Yeah, if they do get the ping pong balls are really good. I want the Raptors to trade that pick. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm on the record saying I don't want the Raptors in the top 5. I want them picking between 5 and 10. 5 would be ideal. 5 is probably exactly perfect. 5 or 6. That way you can for sure get Malak locked down right then. Seriously. But if they get the top 3 pick, I would say trade it and get assets for it. Get more picks or get a really good player of a certain type that you want. But I don't want the top 3 picks. I really don't. I'm not on this flag train with everybody else. I think that it would mess our team up if we get a top 3 pick. I think we need to get a bottom 10 pick between 5 and 10. The top 5 may not be the best place for us to go. Yeah, yeah. And Blackhawk's saying I would go Newell, Queen, or Malak in that order. So you like Asa Newell the best. Interesting. Interesting. Mike saying best available is completely different to the Raptors. It's the best talent, but with the right work habits and coachable and not a knucklehead. This is exactly right. Mike understands how we've been drafted and why we've been so successful with guys like Shed. There's a criteria that's different for the Raptors and who comes here. It's like Chris Boucher said in recent years. If you're on the Raptors just in the first place, you did something right because a lot of knuckleheads ain't even looked at or coming anywhere near here. And this is exactly right. Mike's saying it's not just best available to us. Best available has to do with IQ. It has to do with work ethic. It has to do with promise in certain ways, in the right way with their mentality. And in some ways, there may be guys that are top 10 picks to some people in this draft that the Raptors aren't interested in at all because they understand something about their psychology that just isn't going to work with our culture and the way we play. So, Mike, you're going to get a dunk for this because I think this is exactly right. I think this is exactly right that you got to factor in that the Raptors have an MO on how they like to draft people, and you got to check a couple boxes just to get in that MO. That's your 9th dunk of the year, man. 9th dunk of the year. Blackhawks saying I would take VJ or Trey if we have a top 5 pick. Trey Johnson. So you're talking about point guards and small guards. In some ways, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. James is saying, I like Colin Murray Boyles, if no Malak. Potential to be Randall with elite defense. I think we looked at him for a second. I wasn't as big on him. And Neil's saying that he's probably around the 12th or the 17th pick. So Mike's saying, not gonna lie, I don't guess about draft picks based on the off-court things that matter more in a sense. I know Masai won't pick just for talent. It's a lot of unseen things that needs information from trusted sources. I think that's part of the reason why they were like, damn, we really need to get Scotty because he was the right combination of physical amazingness and athleticism with that mentality that they knew he had on the down low too that he's showing now. And I mean, that's special what Scott does. The way he's a team leader and the way he's so engaged, the way he's coaching the team on the sidelines, the way he's such a teammate that's like supportive and really, really is invested in helping his teammates get better also. You know, that's not common. A lot of the players like Kevin Durant, they may help their guys on the down low, but are they really helping them like Scotty's helping them is what I'm saying. In some ways, some of the older players in the league historically have held proprietary secrets from younger players because they don't want them coming and taking their money in their spot. But that's not the case with the Raptors. It's all open sharing of information and getting better and everybody wanting to bring everybody up together. And Scotty is the figurehead for that right there. Yeah. Smooth saying, I think Banton was still on the roster when Darko was hired. That's how I remember it. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Banton's been gone for 3 years now. And we could go look at it. Yeah, we can go look at it. If he was shortly released afterward, maybe. I don't know. I don't think that's right, though. I think that Banton was actually gone the year before the last year of Nick. I don't think he was on our team the last year of Nick. Somebody can go check it. They can go see. Half season in Boston and then signed in Portland. Half season Boston, signed in Portland. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I'm not totally sure. I don't remember any kind of cross between Delano and Darko. I really don't. Mike's saying Banton's contract finished and we only have early bird rights for 2 years. So it was a money thing too. We would have had to use our MLE to sign him, but we used a portion on Coloco that summer. Okay. Mike's with some answers there. Smooth saying because Banton was at Darko's intro press conference. I remember that. See, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Maybe he was there, and you're right. Well, either way, he wasn't on the team with Darko at all. I don't think that's right, though. I don't really totally think that's right. Anyway, I don't want to quibble on this too much, guys. I don't want to quibble on this too much. It was the year before the second round exception was created, and yes, Delano was still here when Darko was hired. I don't know. I don't know why I don't remember it the same way as you guys. Let's see. Mike saying we waived Banton's cap hold from rights. He had no contract going into Darko's first year. And we kept Flynn's $4 million over Banton. Okay. And Mike's saying we picked the final team option on Flynn and used his salary in the Knicks OG trade. Okay, that I remember. I remember that part. All right, I got to do the Instagram stories real quick. We're behind, honestly. We've had a lot of good discussion today, but it is both a reaction and a two preview day. So Oshai Abaji's reposting his fiance's picture of him dunking in the game last night. That's awesome. So happy to see Oshai back in the lineup last night. Very, very good. Broke baby stunner. Eugene Omaroy, he's got a new post up talking about never giving up. And he's also got this funny thing where this kid has a boo-boo and they're saying chocolate and chocolate owie, something like that. I don't know what's going on there. Kelly Olynyk's got some people on blast for winning something. Who's that? Bernatowski, first year as a head coach and coach of the year and a national title. Okay, wow. That's interesting. Oh, that must be up in Canada in Victoria. Interesting. Very, very cool. Let's see. Raptors game day. There's Brandon Ingram came into the game with, I'm not sure if that was his kid, but there was some kid that came into the game with him in his game day fits picture wearing a little teal hoodie. And he looked like it might be his kid. I'm not sure. There's the starting lineup. And yeah, those guys shooting around. Scotty's just pounding around. You guys like Scotty's new hair? It's interesting. It's a cool look in some ways to me. There we go. There's Slim Duck. He's getting a dap from people at the game last. He's getting dap for the guy who cuts the hair of the Raptors. And there's AJ Lawson getting his hair cut. Jamison Battle, Jamal Shed, Ulrich Shamshay. Yeah, some guy who cuts the Raptors' hair. And Chris wanted to put him on blast. Lloyd is in Honolulu still, riding a boat. Let's see. What else we got? Monique's got a picture of her and RJ Barrett on her Instagram story. It's pretty cool. Dreams big. She's got a picture of her from 2016. And then she's got now with her and Rowan Barrett Jr. That's so awesome, man. Mo, that's so cool that you got to meet all those guys. There's Siakam wearing a hoodie with a smiley face on it. Masai Ujiri posted on his Instagram stories for once. It's showing him talking at the We the World event recently. So there's Masai talking to the crowd. Good stuff. You know, I think they raised like $270,000 at the event or something, or what was it? Something like that. Something like that. They raised an incredible amount of money, honestly. Jared Roden with a post of him. And there he is in the 905 jersey. I hope that he's back today. I don't know. I might have to check with Blake Murphy and see if Jared Roden's well enough to play in the game tonight against Windy City Bulls. And Lindsey Dunn was at the Leafs practice, I guess, just an hour ago or so. There's your Instagram stories. Yeah, let's go look at Blue Skies real quick and see if Blake Murphy has an update on anything going on with Jared Roden. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it at all. No update there. All right, let's see. Trevor's saying, I'm going to the Raptors versus Spurs last game of the road trip. Cool. I'll be going to the Spurs game this Sunday coming up. When the Raptors come back from this road trip, I will be at Scotiabank Arena next Sunday for the afternoon game, Spurs Raptors here in Toronto. That'll probably be my last game I'm going to this season, this Sunday coming up. Stargate saying, I'm not saying those players are going to be busts at all, just not the generational franchise-changing players they're being touted as, and definitely not worth a hard tank. Yeah. I agree with this. I'm with Stargate on this. I think they'll be serviceable players. I think they'll be good, but I think people thinking that players coming in the league are generational talents are crazy. They're crazy. I think they'll be serviceable players. They'll have careers, but they're not necessarily as touted and crazy good as everybody thinks they are. So I in some ways, this whole Jimmy versus Stargate argument today, I'm a little bit more leaning on Stargate's side just because I feel like there's so much overhype about draft prospects in the world today with the way the public publicity is. Most saying, I'm going to the Raptors Spurs game after all. Wasn't sure at first. Are you? I am going. I'll be going with Adriana next Sunday. Yeah, we're going to go down. We're going to have a nice lunch at Real Sports, and then we're going to go to the game and watch it. Yeah, we're going to go see the Spurs. I wanted to see Wemby. We got the tickets before Wemby got hurt, and now Wemby's hurt, and that kind of annoys me. And now De'Aaron Fox is hurt too, and the Spurs are tanking, and they're trying to lose. So we could very well win that game, even though we're trying not to. Fiercey said, I thought Thibault was Australian. Is he Australian? I thought he was on the team with the. You know what it is? I'm getting him confused with Batum. That's what it is. Him and Nicholas Batum are like the same kind of player to me, and that's what it is. Thibault is Australian. You're right. and I thought he was on France because of Nicholas Batum. You guys can see where I got confused there. I'm not perfect. I mess up. Fiercely saying, just looked it up. He's Australian. Yeah, that's what it is. I totally screwed up there. Kareem saying Sebastian Janikowski is definitely a drunk. Yeah, he is. He very much is. And yeah, I also got to interview him when I was working for the radio station. I used to cover Florida State football games. And I can remember being in the Florida State locker room interviewing Andre Wadsworth before he went to play for Arizona Cardinals in the NFL. And yeah, it was a weird time, like being a journalist for radio and getting a press pass. And, Bobby Bowden was still our coach at that time. And so I got to interview him too. And it's really cool. Like my studies at FSU and broadcasting for sports. I covered the Florida State teams very closely and got to go to Florida State games on press passes and sat up in the press booth and got all the stats and had to write articles. And I actually was on the radio. So I did radio spots and radio updates on Florida State's sports. And it wasn't just football. I covered the baseball team, softball team, all kinds of different teams for them. Yeah. Sebastian Janikowski. Yeah. He's annoying. He was in the league for a long, long time though, as a kicker for the Raiders, wasn't he? Yeah, Janikowski, he was in the league for a long, long time. All right, let me go through the rundown real quick. Let's do the classic card. Let's do that first. Let's see. Which card am I going to get today? Oh, that's weird, man. All right, this is a hard one. This one could be like a 200-point card. All right, let's see if our old heads know who this is. This is the classic card of the day. The classic card of the day is really hard, honestly. I don't remember this player. And you guys may need clues for this one. So let me look at it again just to make sure I got the name right. Yeah, that's who I thought that is. Okay, guys, who knows who this is? This former Pacer, and this is from like the early 90s. So this is a true classic card. So if you know who this player is, you're going to get Raptor Freak points, and you get more further up our trivia standings. As far as this will be about 200 points. If it takes a long time, it may be 300. We'll have to see if it takes y'all a second. If you give me some guesses, I'll give you some clues on his name as far as like so you can get it. But I want to see who you guys think he is just visually off the top first. So any guesses? Wow, Slug Deezy got it. Slug Deezy didn't need no clues. He didn't need no hints. It's Kenny Williams. And I don't know how Slug Deezy knew that. It's not that he knew it from a number because the number is not apparently on there. He just knew it's Kenny Williams. That is really impressive. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give you 300 points for this one, Slug, because I thought this was going to be like pulling teeth. So Kenny Williams was not in the league that long, and he may have been only like a rookie or something like that. I know Reggie's impressed, and Reggie's like the king of the classic card. That is really amazing, Slug Deezy. So I'm going to put Kenny Williams down, and you're getting 300 for this one. That is really, really impressive. Like seriously, first shot, he doesn't shoot to miss. This guy did not mess around. He was like OG against the Celtics in that one shot. Man, 300 points, Slug Deezy. Very, very, very impressive. Wow. Sniped. Yeah. Snipe. No swearing Sundays. Okay. Stargate saying FSU has a really good track and field program as well. Yeah. We had a couple of multi-star guys like Deion Sanders played at FSU on the football team, the baseball team, and he was a track and field star at the same time. So Deion, just like he did with his professional career, because he played for the Falcons and the Braves, he did baseball and football. But Sanders was also a track and field standout at Florida State when he was there too. Yeah. Smith saying the only Kenny Williams I know is the former baseball player. I know this is impressive. I do remember him playing for the Pacers, Kenny Williams, but he was such a bit player and barely on that team for that long. It is super impressive that Slug Deezy got this because it's like he can't look this up because it's not like he can find the number. He's going by how he looks, and he's just figuring it out that way. That is really impressive. No lie. Really, really impressive. All right, let's do the rundown. Actually, we're going to look at Raptors Reddit real quick. This is on Raptors Reddit right now. It's about Yak's 3 last night. And Darko saying in the press conference, Yak has been working on that shot quite a bit, and it's something that we're seeing in the making. He's making those shots in practice, and we just wanted to take a look at it. So I'm really glad that he made that shot. I probably need to run more of those plays for him. So I guess we will see more Jakob Poeltl shooting threes as a stretch 5 now. It's so crazy. They've got a funny picture of LeBron saying, smiling through it all. Can't believe this is my life. Raptors lose and Brooklyn wins, and they're happy on Reddit. Yeah, they're goofy stuff right there. Yeah. Yeah, this is funny. Yeah, Raptors Reddit can be pretty funny at times in some ways. It's pretty silly what they're doing there. Let's go through the rundown real quick. All right, guys, here's our injuries for today for the Raptors. The latest lineup news is as such. Emmanuel quickly should be back today after taking a rest game. RJ Barrett is day to day with his illness. I'm going to guess RJ will play possibly today. Jacoby Walters out. Brandon Ingram is out. Grady Dick is out. Ulrich Shamshay is out. Jakob Pertl is probably going to be out also due to rest. And it's not official yet. I'm going to say right now, Jakob is very unlikely to play tonight on the second night of a back-to-back. Scotty Barnes is likely to play, though. I will say that. Scotty Barnes is likely to play tonight still, though. So, yeah, I'm going to guess the starting lineup tonight will be Emmanuel Quickley, AJ Lawson, Emmanuel Quickley, Ochai Agbaji, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, and Orlando Robinson is who I think will start for the Raptors tonight. The Phoenix Suns do have some injuries. Bradley Beal got hurt in the Laker game yesterday. It's a left hamstring tightness, and he may not be playing today. Monte Morris is out, and Grayson Allen was out yesterday. We'll have to see if he is available for today. But the Suns are going to be playing Devin Booker, probably Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn, Kevin Durant, and Nick Richards. And, of course, they got people like Mason Plumlee and Bobo and Cody Martin off their bench. So, yeah, they're going to be wanting to try and win tonight, the Suns. They are not trying to lose. The referees for the G League game at 7:30 at Paramount Fine Food Center, Windy City Bulls, second game against Raptors 905. Can the Raptors 905 snap a 10-game losing streak tonight? Hopefully. Crew chief is Agan Abazi. Referee is Cameron Garber. And the umpire is Paul Toomey. We'll have to see if Jared Roden is available to play since he twisted his ankle on Saturday. Well, hopefully he can play. The referees for the Phoenix Suns game against the Toronto Raptors are Mark Lindsay. He favors the Suns. Brent Barnecki. He favors the Suns. And Matt Myers, who favors the Brent Barnecki favors the Raptors, and Matt Myers favors the Suns. The ESPN matchup predictor is saying we have a 35% chance to beat the Suns tonight, just so y'all know. All right, I think that's about it. There's my rundown. Refs are favoring the Suns to a degree, but they're also not a horrible, bad ref crew. My 3 stars of the game against the Trailblazers last night were Jakob Pertl, Jamal Shed, and Ochai Agbaji. Honorable mention to Scotty Barnes for his career-high six steals that he got last night. Yeah, all right, that's it, guys. No birthdays on the birthday list. Congratulations to the 8 teams getting into the playoffs on our Raptor Freak playoff fantasy basketball league. Good job, Gerald. You got in there just barely. And yeah, that's it. We're going to get out of here. I'm about a half an hour over. Yeah. So let's see. Mo's saying JYD is going to be at NBA Courtside Restaurant March 22nd. There you go. That's a good update. Y'all, if you want to meet the Junkyard Dog, Jerome Williams, he's going to be at NBA Courtside Restaurant on March the 22nd. So you can go down there and meet him, maybe get an autograph and a picture with him. I've met JYD before. He's a very nice man. He signed my JYD jersey, so I have a signed JYD jersey. I got to find it, though. It's in storage somewhere. I can't find my jerseys. I got a signed Alvin Williams, a signed Jerome, and a signed Muggsy that I used to have on my wall behind me when I do the show. And I packed them up when I moved out here, but I haven't unpacked everything, so I got to find them. I should find them soon. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Let's go Raptors. Doubleheader tonight. I'll be in the chat for the YouTube watching of the 905. If you want to talk to me during 905 Windy City Bulls, I'll be there. And then after the game, we got the Raptors and the Phoenix Suns right in a row. Doubleheader tonight. 2 games right in a row. It's the best. I love having a whole night of basketball. There you go. Mike saying, correction, we signed Dennis with the MLE the summer we waived Banton. Okay. Y'all may be right that Banton was sitting at that press conference with Darko, but the overlap with Banton and Darko, I don't think it was really there. And you guys may be right on all of it. For some reason, I feel like Banton hadn't been on our team for like 3 years. I don't know. Maybe I'm just selective memory. I don't know. Either way, I appreciate it, and I'm not above fact checking. If I say something wrong, please correct me. Matisse Thybulle is Australian. Okay, yeah, that's right. I got him confused with Batum. They're like similar player in some ways. A lot of ways they are. All right, let's go Raptors. Let's win tonight, or maybe not. I don't know. Let's play ethically and smart and play hard most of the game. And well, let's just see if Kevin Durant and them want to win more at the end of the game and they take the game from us in the end. We'll just have to see. Be ready for anything, Raptors fans. And the poll says 74% of y'all say no. Fans should not be running NBA teams. I think that goes without saying. All right, let's go, Raptors. Woo!